Still kind of too bright. Not really, though. I'll wait for viewers. Yeah, I'm too windy, though. Waiting for viewers. Waiting for slow, gradual start with some of our own created music. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Positioning myself on the chair better. That being said, it's kind of like I don't want to just come on the camera, come to the camera. Just trying to educate, curb people thinking, or those who might comment certain things. But yeah, until like, okay, someone's here. Ooh, here I am. But sometimes why not, right? I just want to have a gradual start. Well, happy when there's somebody tuning in. Okay. 4 minutes. Hello, hello. Just getting started with this stream. And you know what? Interestingly enough, Otto, even though that's interesting, so graces or whatever you want to call it, to jump right in with, and thank you for the like from whichever the two of you it came from. Is where I thought that it just said that there was. Oh wow, you're here early, Mark. I swear it just said maybe it was 2:40, and I read it as 4. I don't have a certain in the room again. In fact, please look past it if you're not cool with it. I know that Mark and Kelly would. Anyway, Otto from home, right? It's really. I missed you all weekend. I did. I didn't really do as. I could talk about that actually. We have today off work. Oh, how come? Oh well, please don't rush off. I mean, nobody else is here yet or saying anything. Um, and I'm most of your stream, I think. But since you moved your thing to Thursday, well, even if if it had been Friday, can it be Wednesday? I know, maybe you can make a written update. I don't know what that means, but okay. I think we have those here, and then maybe you can make a written update that you decided. Because I would hate to miss it. I really do. I mean, it really, really. I see a lot of benefit in what you do, and I have no plans Wednesday. I was going to take it as my do nothing day, but I struggle with that. Even when I don't, yeah. And then I'm going to find myself streaming, which I am somewhat surprised. I didn't think I was going to, but it helps with what's facing and everything with it as we need to. Do I need more updates? Uh, um, for my conversation tonight with somebody, probably not. But is it nice to get them? Sure, I guess so. I look well. Well, then I don't look as I am. No, I mean I'm okay. But Star Wars Day. Oh, is it? Oh my gosh, it is. I don't want to say too much about that, and well, I don't really have too much to say about it, to be honest. But I guess it's a positive statement, right? And I've certainly heard it. Thank you for the third like, folks. Yeah, so hopefully you can stay until people are here to chat. It's a little bit later in the day. What, early afternoon? What's your plans, Mark and Kelly? I'm glad that you're. Yeah, I mean, heck, you could have even done it today then. I guess you were thinking other people in the UK may or may not be available. But it's not like it's a big fancy holiday that people are probably just looking for things to do, right? Because they're bored and don't have to go into work. Which is a good segue to something else, actually. Um, but anyway, basically, uh, yeah, I'm so. Yeah, I did miss you on the weekend. I did. I think I did a piano stream, and then I did a little, a little. I'm gonna have the rest with lunch because I don't know. I think I'd just rather have it with food, and I had a. Would you believe it's very rare? It's very rare, in the 23 years that I've been in the place I live that I won't mention, but in Canada, that we have had like um, light snow. Uh, we're supposed to get some today. It's very windy. I wanted to share some song lyrics I've been working on. You've had your Tuesday. Can you go lay down or you're going upstairs? Sorry, I'm just talking to a dog. Anyway, I wanted to share some song lyrics I've been working on. And I hope other people will come into the chat soon so you can go do your plans. What are you guys planning to do today? And this is Mark we're talking to, right? Sorry I missed you this weekend. I was out pretty much. Oh yeah, what kind of fun were you getting into? Anyway, basically, I'll talk a little bit about the weekend, and that'll be a good segue into this, even though there was already a segue into it, and we'll go from there. As far as that person, and I will chat. Yeah, and we should have gotten a payout recently because of Sam and Dustin, and the yeah, because we were about $15 away. Somebody donated 4 or so, not knowing that. I haven't seen them. I hope they'll be back. They seem to enjoy themselves here. And then, yeah, we got. So I don't know. We reached that 100 threshold, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe the paper was there, but I don't know what way to use it. Or I know Kelly had said that you don't even have to have it connected to anything, but that's I don't know, mixy about that. Anyway, mixy about all of it, but it's nice to make money. Anyway, for rambling. So let's see here. I think I pretty well caught up to what you're saying, though. It is Mark. We were just going for something to eat. Okay, so it's not like it's a scheduled thing, although you might be getting hungry. Yeah, you sure eat out a lot, man. I wish I could join you. But I'm looking forward to lovely lettuce, cheese, chicken, chicken, ranch wrap probably later. Yeah. So anyway, but so yeah, I could send you some of the what do we want to call them? And the dog's laying so nice, but even in socks, I'm finding that my feet are a little warm. I put on a cleaner shirt before I started rolling, so I'll just put the other one on top of them. See how that helps. I don't know if I'd call them my special wraps, but I've been eating a lot of them lately because we have, wraps to use up and salad to use up, and yeah, neither of which oddly I eat very often anyway. But yeah, so basically, I wanted to talk about something really cool that happened on the weekend. Yeah, so I didn't really record any of the, for lack of a different word, rituals that were happening. I just didn't. I don't know enough about them to really have explained them. I didn't know what people would. What happened at this weekend? An out and about stream, and yeah, I'll try and remember to send it to you after this because I'm not doing anything until my evening appointment. I like that question. So anyway, we went to a welcome spring potluck thing. I'm surprised with. I mean, because they had a bit of other things that they got to before the food, and the food always just sits there. I never get sick mostly. I mean, it's a little bit gassy, but and I'm surprised because it's sitting out there. We did score some. I ate well enough this morning, but we scored some free apple pastry things. Good for fruit, good for a treat. Not too sweet, not too flaky, oddly. And so I'll probably have those for breakfast because I don't know if I should say this, but basically, we brought some stuff for the barbecue, and the guy must have thought that. I don't know. Some people have said it, but must have thought that I brought them just for me and whoever I was with. I don't know why. I mean, other than that, there was only one of Jacob's viewers up because we got. I think they came in 3, and we didn't like the other 2. And then if you had to open the package, had been open, it was sealed, and so that was still frozen. Would have been wasted if I put it by the fire pit, which I didn't even remember being lit, to be quite honest. Thank you for the fourth like. Anyway, so basically, he's like, "Oh, I'll do that, and then I'll do yours. I'll have to clean this off and do yours." Well, he should clean it anyway, but I think he just was thinking maybe it was like kosher or something. I don't know that it needed to. Anyway, hello, Chris. How are you? Anyway, so basically, no, I brought that for everybody, but it was like the last batch that was made. I kind of didn't see it on the table still afterwards, but I was. There's some things I wouldn't mind talking about, such as like when you struggle with your mental health when you're out and about, and how do you handle it? Um, yeah, have you guys met before? I'm not sure. Chris, hopefully you're watching from home. The dog's just sitting here looking at me, looking cute, but thankfully being quiet. So, one of the things that did happen though is that I really connected with a lady who isn't much about social media. She was in her probably her 40s or 50s, and she was kind of one of those old fashioned types. The states, apparently. Uh, I tried to ask what states. I asked if it was Dakota. She said 18 kilometers or something from something. I forget the details. Anyway, so basically, I brought some music with me, and we hadn't been there that long. I only saw it at the beginning. I would have talked to him maybe, even though he looks shy. If he hadn't had that thing, I was like, that just makes my neck uncomfortable to see that thing on his. Anyway, oh, there's. Anyway, so basically, there was a big bunch of people. And it was just off to the side. You've had your chew stick. If you're going to be noisy, you're going to be upstairs. Sorry. Anyway, but that's not the actual story of it. That's the lead up to it. So anyway, I wasn't exactly. I knew that when the other thing started, it might be a little bit hard to fit the music in. It was on and off windy. We had to chase things a few times that were blowing away, but it was mostly a lovely day, not too hot and bright, so I liked it. But anyway, so basically, I'd had some sheet music, and I put something I thought on top of it, and basically, oh, don't let them know there's more tree sticks there, right? So basically, um, and she was more of a jazz, classical. When I asked if she knew Ed Sheeran, she said maybe if she heard it. I started to play. Honestly, it worked out in a way because there was a couple of deep songs which I played on here a couple of times recently, which may or may not have been good for that crowd, especially the younger ones. I don't want to say that, like there was definitely a couple of people that had autism spectrum, and one of them had a bit of a meltdown actually during the food line thing. Very mild, but her mother was very aware of it and said, "I know you're having a hard time right now. Just meet me over here." Seriously, you're being distracting. Sorry, just talking to the dog. Anyway, but so this lady, um, uh, she was really into audiobooks, which we should get into making and looking at. Ed Sheeran is a good singer. I've seen him. Oh, have you? Have you heard me do his covers before? I think you have. Um, I would love to do some music for the both of you. Maybe I will do that. I also wanted to read some original lyrics, but that would make the dog go settle down. Um, either or. So basically, oh, who now? Just a moment. I'm not expecting a call. Probably telemarketing. Not that we get a lot of those. I'm not going to be out very long. I do have to describe what I'm calling my dentist. Oh, really? Okay, just a moment. Yeah, this will be quick. Please don't go anywhere. I want to finish where I left off. Hello? Yeah, hi. Right. Yep. That's got it. Mm-hmm. What was the 14th? Was that's a Thursday, of course. Right, yeah. For some reason, I had been under the impression it was always on Thursdays and Fridays. Oh, okay. Um, then that would have been next week. Is there an option to maybe come this week then? Actually, no, this is the week that. Oh, wait a minute. I may have been confused when I called because the 14th is not this Friday. No, it's a Thursday. That was the problem. Sorry. Still coming into the day. Okay. And because it will have been close to a month, so yeah. But this week wouldn't have worked either. So, like you mentioned in the voicemail, I am going to be at the other location. Do they have one now that I could access since I'm there now? What's that? Oh, I see. Right. So that might be. Okay. So what would you suggest? Um, okay, well, I guess we can put me in for that for now, and it's just I can't really adjust my work stuff. It only happens when it happens. Yeah. Okay, and anyway, what if it goes? Alrighty. Um, alright, well, yeah, so we'll plan it, and this is good as much. That's, just to make sure that's right. Sorry, it's only 2 minutes. Yeah, and the first spot was good. Appreciate that. And hopefully it's not as windy as today, because it sure is. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it wasn't bad on the weekend, but yeah. Okay, thank you for calling. Take care. Okay. That was a little bit hectic. Mark and Kelly, are you still there? That's cool that they're by the old one, but or the new one actually, but they only had the other one. But they what do you call it? I had said it in the voicemail. So 29th, 1 p.m. Okay, good enough. Okay, okay. All before 9. Okay, you still there, Mark and Kelly? I hope you are. I'm not expecting any other calls. You're leading. You're a good singer, very talented. I was talking to the dog, but you did hear the phone ring, didn't you, Mark? So, and I kind of want to talk about it a little bit. I mean, the people that would be involved, well, I don't know, the volunteer might not be. I don't understand why they'd use that kitchen for any, well, I don't know. I guess, do they have a cooking program? I'd like a part of it, perhaps, maybe. Um, sorry, I just, because they just need one volunteer in that area, and it's a kitchen. So if they have programming on all these other days that they normally would have it, that they don't work it around, which is a little bit odd, then why is it happening in the kitchen? I guess, like I said, it must be a cooking program. I should have asked about that. Maybe I will. But if it's not a cooking program, then again, unless they just have too many other things going on in the other rooms. But during the daytime, well, I don't know. Anyway, we got five. Thank you for the fifth like, Mark and Kelly. Are you still here? Because I was in the middle of telling a story when I got really interrupted. Okay. Uh, a song that always calms me down. It's not that I'm not calm, but it's basically now I have to wait for my hamper uh, from a food program. Oh, hello, Margaret. Welcome back. Um, uh, for probably, thank you for the hearts. Pretty much the whole month now, because I can't get there next week because I'm taking a wellness program at one of their other locations. And I can't change where I'm doing it. I don't want to miss it, and I'd be too late between the driving, the going there, the bringing the stuff back, and dog. I'm sorry, I don't have the patience for it right now. Sorry, up you go. Okay. Well, yeah, it's quite windy out there, and that's what I think I need to wait. Because otherwise I go to it. I'd just be calling and finding out what time I'm supposed to be there and walking to it. But if it's like this, I'm not. Okay, sorry, folks. I think I'm going to move over to the couch because my laptop is not keeping it charged for very long. And I'll be right there with you. I think I do see Mark and Kelly's comment. Yeah, if I could just finish these stories. I hope you and Kelly don't mind. I thought about saying these, and I thought about it last night, but I was getting an update from Jordan, and I'm not even sure if you know the Jordan Sega. Well, can you watch while you're on your way, like in the car while one of you is driving, or how are you getting there? Where are you going? Place you've ever been before? Are you doing a video of it? You have to go. Everybody's leaving me. I'll pop back on some other time. Okay, but will that be this time? Well, 5 likes in 22 minutes, but like, I need to be heard right now, please. Damn it. Sorry. Pardon my French, but so who is it that is watching at the top? If you could tell me. I'm going to continue my story anyway. Okay, you're still here, Chris. Okay, well, okay. That's something, ain't it? So anyway, what happened, and I'm mixy about the thing, but like I said, I'll know. And if I don't know. I might need your help. Well, yeah, anyway, yeah. But, I'm not good at, sorting through stuff very well. I have other things I need to not be kind of in holding them on here. Well, this would help. Anyway, so yeah, it's, you try and take a betterment course and, well, not a betterment. I don't know what you want to call it. Wellness, a social activity, basically, is what it is. A social activity, a sense of routine, with something, other than life doing, getting up. No, just kidding. I want the radio on in the background, or maybe this, just slightly. Anyway, so basically, I don't know. I feel like I should finish that story next time I'm talking to Mark and Kelly. Although I know you heard it too, but maybe that'll be when you're here, whether it's on their channel. So I don't know if you're able to navigate from here or not. But I mean, not right now because they're not rolling. They're going for dinner, probably, or maybe lunch. 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. They're also in the UK. They're going for a very late lunch by the scenes of it, or an early dinner. But anyway, so yeah, basically I'm just processing that call I just got, first of all, for a moment. It's not terrible, but like, and I was all flustered and confusing my weeks and this and that, but no, legit, I can't go Thursday, and they're not having Friday. Otherwise, I could have went Friday, because that's not this week, it's next week anyway. But, and then the other location has a similar program with their own wait list, this and that. They didn't make it so that, I could just get it from that location. Since they're going to be there anyway. It might not have been the day of it, but is that the point? I'm almost tempted to ask in person with the person I'm familiar with. I mean, the person I talked to on the phone, I mean, she's working most likely, and I don't know how busy it is there at 9 in the morning, but the person I talked with on the phone, and I don't know if I'm good watching it, but she, hopefully it's not too laggy or skippy. This is the device I have for today. I was kind of familiar with anyway. I don't know if it was the one that has an ironic name to me, being what the place is. Thank you for the 6 like, or if it's the one I don't want to use. I don't know if I want to be particular. I mean, they're common enough first names, but thank you for the 6 like. I appreciate it. I'm just getting something off my chest, and then I might do some music. We'll see. Mark, if you are still here, I'll continue my one story. While it's still kind of fresh. I mean, I could type it, but certainly, I don't know if I'll feel like talking after my dentist appointment, but I'll be back in time to at least be part of the chat. But they aren't just doing the one that week, and it is a weekday for them, so they're not going to go later than usual. But I hope you'll be able to check that out. Their streams out sometime, Chris. That'll be nice. But anyway, I don't know if there's anything else to say other than that, the date that I've got is probably the best that I can get for it, considering the particulars. There was something else. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ray, for making sure they realized the update. I know you would have tried even harder if it had been, your namesake. Anyway, sorry. Here's talking to one of the angels. If I haven't already talked with you about that topic, do you believe in that kind of stuff? Chris, am I seeing any comments other than yours? Or am I not seeing any comments other than yours is the most recent one saying you're still here? You did kind of leave abruptly the other day, by the way. Like, after you popped into the kitchen to get coffee, which I'm really thinking maybe my throat's gonna, it's not that cloudy yet, not that gloomy. It hasn't started. Yeah, I don't know. And it is morning, and I almost wanted to go back to sleep, but I guess we'll see. But I just had music playing on lightly that we have helped work on. Anyway, but yeah, it's too early for lunch. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I don't want to leave you hanging on that story, but I kind of would like Mark and Kelly to know as well, and I could tell you both, like I say, via their stream. I will be there probably at about, and I've told you what it's called, but you can, I don't know if you can, because, well, you're a mod, so you could go to the channel easy enough. Otherwise, I guess it's a bit of, like, it takes extra effort that some people wouldn't necessarily be willing to take, and then it's kind of like a, I don't know what you want to call it, measure. But anyway, yeah, so I will get there, let's see. Trying to stop the store because we didn't get a lot today. Probably at about 1 p.m. Central Standard. Like right now, it's about 9:16 in the morning, and I have a feeling it's like 3ish and 3:16 or something in the afternoon there, 3:04. I'm gonna be very curious to see how you feel about theirs. Like I think anybody that sees it would realize that they're very tight knit. But not, there's rarely newbies, but it's not that they don't welcome them. They'd still like to get to a time when they can't keep up with every comment, but it's kind of like, why would you want that? We value that you can, and there is two of them, but more so he's the one that reads them. But yeah, you could just tell that, people are pretty familiar with each other there. We might not all get along at the same level, but, but yeah, like I say, totally welcoming place, stream. As I try to be for the most part. But yeah, so if there's any comments I'm not seeing, please tell me. What do I want? Where do I want to go from here? I want to tell my story. I'm just kidding. Could they really have been that hungry? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were walking, or maybe they, didn't want to be both. They wanted to both be able to focus more strongly on my stream than they would have while they were driving. I don't know. Are you at home, by the way, Chris? Are you even still here? I don't just say, yes, I'm here. Answer some of my questions, please. I need to know these things. And I'm glad that Margaret said nice talking to me since we really didn't get much into a conversation. I'm glad that, okay, good to know. I hope you always are when you're watching. For reasons. Maybe if I edited that video at the beginning and maybe a couple other spots. Not that technological. Then I could post it. Anyway, so it looks like it's just you here right now, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, she's been on the stream once before. I know I was dealing with the dog being distracting, and then I came back, and her comment pretty much just said, well, as you can see, you have to go. Take care. Nice talking to you. Take care. I'll pop back some other time. So I'm glad she got she got more from being here than I did from her at the moment. But that's a lovely comment. I'm not saying it's not. Sorry. So, and of course, welcome here anytime. So yes, I'm still kind of waking up. Maybe I will have more coffee soon. But yeah, so but I could read you some original lyrics that I was working on, and G had to bike to work in the wind today because it's very windy, and he didn't have any other way. I think some people start in the afternoon that he works with. Okay, yeah, I certainly wouldn't be in this wind, and well, he's already been out 2 hours ago. Now he's upstairs where he can't be distracting to me here. And as far as washing pots, I caught up with that on the weekend myself. I mean, there's a couple in the sink still, but I did like 3 of them in a pan. And yeah, I was thinking of doing some plant potting. We got the most interesting thing. They were sitting over here until G moved them. They're like these paper balls with seeds inside them. One actually had sprouts coming out of it. I said to G, but I don't think it's the same as well. But um, and it's some sort of herb, but then there's also which I don't know if I like that or not. I think it's fluffy stuff that flows around everywhere, from what I recall. But and it looks like they've colored it looks like they colored the paper somehow. You'd think that would prevent it from growing or whatever. But anyway, so basically, like I said, it's morning, and I'm here for those that are mourning or stressed about something or struggling. Um, yeah, so some work start later, some don't work today, some also don't drive. So I had to bike to work. I don't know if I think the wind looked like it was going that way, and he was going that way. So it would have been behind him. Depending on what it's like on his way home, I guess we'll see. But sometimes there is a coworker that has a vehicle that can take his bike as well, and he can get home. So, well, that's a very interesting question. Um, I guess maybe you hadn't got here quite at the start of the story, but I did a little bit this weekend. These days, though, that was more many years ago. If I joined that thing with Sheila, but she got a second job and had too many other commitments, I may have. But these days, with my OAB and other health issues and this and that, it's not likely. I'm hoping that since they're off, I guess we could hope for that too. Depending on how long this stream is, if Mark and Kelly come back after they eat, they're like, he does a lot of streams with us. I wonder if he's still rolling, and or maybe they left it open on the device or whatever. Then so that's a great segue. But basically, the part that I'll say now, and I really was near the start of the story with them earlier. The part I'll say is not often, unfortunately, but almost in some ways that isn't a preference. I don't know. It isn't. It isn't. So you love Ed Sheeran. Have you heard me do Castle on the Hill recently? You must have. I've done it like three or four recent streams. I do others of his songs too, but these original lyrics that I wrote about him having to check into work, and then I thought of it in kind of a lyrical way, and this is what I got so far. I don't songwrite often, but I don't need a car to work. Technically, though, it would be nice at times. I bike through the wind and dirt, pedal uphill while I think of all the skills I never use in every way that I could lose another chance to grow. We work in places that take our gifts and all of our dreams that we had. But I swear it's all right. We'll find a way and a place to be alive where we can use it all, the things we learned in school, our souls and our hearts. But for now, we gotta work. So I bike through the wind dirt, pedal uphill. No other way to get there. So, not too sure about the title that I have though for it. I'd like to change it to something else. I think maybe cycling through life. I don't know, or something like that. Maybe. I'm not British, so no, I'm not in the royal family. Can you tell? Just kidding. No, but I don't drink tea very often. I don't, and I had a short, weird dream last night, actually, but it reminded me of someone I know that drinks tea, and she looks like somebody else that has the same name as the other person. I know it's weird, but I associate tea with two people, and now you. Coffee and water mostly, occasionally juice. I had some orange juice on the weekend. It was very sweet. And I forgot it in the guy's car. But and the stupid cardboard straws, humbug. Plastic is recyclable, people. Why don't you understand that? No, but I mean, I prefer a good cup of tea than a bad cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. Anyway, but no, I don't mind it, but I don't really like herbal teas. It's weird because I don't mind sweet, and I don't eat a lot of fruit, but I kind of don't mind like fruity flavors. It's pretty people, but just kidding. But but kind of, but wow, that's very interesting. You weren't here when thankfully we found out that Jordan got a job in the restaurant. Do you remember Jordan? Anyway, I'm not going to talk much about him if he's not here. The second person seems like you're not saying anything. Don't be shy. You can still join the conversation. Stay space. And if you're thinking negative mental thoughts, no need to do that. Just go watch something you'd rather enjoy and think more positively about. But you're probably wrong with the thoughts if that's what you're thinking. But yeah, if you're enjoying being here, then that's cool too. Um, Sorry, I feel like I have something on my tooth. Just a moment. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to call about my dental appointment today. I need to confirm the time, but if it's windy like this morning, since I'd be walking there, I'm kind of thinking I'll cancel. It'll be about 2 or 3 hours notice. But anyway, yeah. So if I was to interpret that, though, I would say that you're probably meant to work in a restaurant, or thinking of an old job in which you did, or had a really pleasant restaurant experience recently. What was mine? I don't know if I want to say it entirely. It's not that it's like terrible or whatever, but basically it was someone who I wasn't. I was around quite a few people the other day, but this reminded me more of my cousin who I was thinking about recently, a couple, 2 or 3 streams ago, like last week, and also someone that we know locally who kind of looks like her. Um, uh, Basically, I could have had an opportunity, but working with children, they're too high energy for me most of the time, or they just randomly get really loud. I don't know. Anyway, but it was a possibility, an art therapy place in the neighborhood that I didn't know was there, and I found out that somebody I know, this one lady that I didn't know. I don't know if she's a manager there or she just works there, but there's only like 3 or 4 people that work there. They didn't have a need. Um, so I know that's like too. But anyway, but yeah, so she reminded me of that person. She was talking about a hobby that I was thinking about recently. I've been kind of thinking about recently. I saw a reminder of it the other day. I mean, it's digital media, essentially, but with kind of like well, almost you could say an old school element to it these days. And I haven't been. I've kind of let go of the idea of taking further classes other than this workshop, and I almost feel like this other location is punishing me, making me. I mean, at least it's still within the month, but making me wait an extra. I guess it's just an extra week, or is it two? From the 14th to the 29th. Uh, anyway, even though I'm taking this program. Anyway. But yeah, so cost, accessibility. Even if there's I mean, that one class was still going to be over $200. It just, yeah. So anyway, um, uh, but I was thinking about if someone was to ask what I do. In fact, and I thought maybe a ride there. We were more familiar with his wife, but even still, not really. But they were going to the same thing, and so and actually coming from an area that we were on the way, so it worked out. But I don't think I thought he would ask because that's what people do. They say, "What do you do for a living?" This kind of thing. But I don't think he really did. However, the other person in the car had worked in a movie theater for 19 years. Yeah, and she got all kinds of deals and this and that. She'd seen one movie about that many times, and that's way too many times to see any movie, as far as I'm concerned. And it was really weird. Like, I didn't actually see her because I didn't know who she was. It was someone else who he'd picked up as well. And I was having this conversation while sitting behind this person who I didn't see until we got out of the car. And I really didn't like how I said, "Oh no, wasn't that broken or whatever." Like, assuming we could park a bit further away, even though we had a bunch of stuff, because we don't look like we have a physical disability. Luckily, I was feeling decent that day, but and had the help to carry the stuff. And actually, they didn't judge it. It was more so me that said I packed everything but the kitchen sink. But anyway, basically, so we got three of you here. Don't be shy to put lovely comments, and I'm going to do some music soon, probably. Chris, you've said nothing about my lyrics. Love listening to you talk. I'm glad. I don't as much, but I live with myself, and on days like today, I would have just been walking around, speaking things out to myself or talking to the dog, because it's how I process. And I figured, you know, why not just stream? I would like some company. So I'm glad to have you here. I hope you're not wandering off anytime soon. And yeah, so what was the other thing? And I would love to get to the seventh like. And I have a bit of a feeling that two out of the three of you haven't, one or two out of the three of you haven't liked yet. So, oh, thank you. Okay, so you have heard me do those songs recently, but you didn't like those lyrics I read? Okay, then, fine. Be that way. I was kidding. But anyway, and people are a bit shy again. You don't need to be shy on this channel. And as far as yeah, I can't hate you, Chris. I just can't. No matter how hard I may try sometimes, just kidding. But to people say, oh, he's in such a great mood, or it's so nice that he has someone to talk with. I'm so lonely. You can be in a great mood and talk with us too. Anyway, it helps, folks. It really does. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so anyway, that one, to me, it made sense because it was kind of someone I'd thought of recently and other things that I'd thought of recently. But, and it was very brief. It was like just that simple. Her saying, this is what I do, and then I did talk to somebody else, and she did ask, but it didn't go deep enough. She's not local. She's not very much into being socially connected. She kind of likes her time to herself when she's not volunteering, she says. And some of that's in the city. So I should have asked where. And I did say that, sometimes we want to do that, but I said sometimes you're stuck and things don't feel all that accessible. She both seemed like the type that would say, what kind of volunteering would you like to do? Or this is what I do. And then I'd say, I would like to do that. And she would say, okay, would you need a ray there? Okay, let's do it. That didn't transpire. She did ask, when the channel came up, she asked a little bit about what to do with that. And I don't know, maybe she felt like it didn't give the impression that maybe that I would like to do more with it. But anyway, so basically, she says, oh yeah, I don't know how she would have been about the one thing, channel thing, but the music and the life coaching. I mean, can you give me some opportunities? But in a way, she kind of did, unintentionally, and I feel like the angels may have had something to do with it, and I'd like to talk about that. But again, we'll wait for Mark and Kelly on that. Back to the tea, though, because I feel like having a warm beverage. I'm comfortable temperature-wise, but I feel, and my throat's not bad at the moment, but I feel like it could benefit from having a warm beverage. And we did buy some recently. And even though I'd be putting sugar in it, it's not caffeine. It's not caffeinated. So it might not be a bad option. I might still have more caffeine before, noon, but that's not a bad option. Now I need to, like I say, we all do. I attach certain things with certain memories. There was another one that came up. Well, I appreciate it. It's not that I don't hate tea, and the kind that we have, I think I like it. Certain tea don't seem to like my throat. They just make me have like a really rough feeling in my throat. But hot chocolate, you don't have to correct yourself. Please don't. I know what you mean. I used to. Not as much. I don't know. It's one of those things that I kind of haven't been having as often. I really wish that that coffee that we got from Money Center, but it was completely sealed. It was free. It was probably quite expensive. I really wish that it was had been fresher because it sounded very tasty. But anyway, so yeah, basically, so but let me see if I can get myself because I was able to do that a little bit on the weekend, connected to something else. Do I remember exactly how I did it? No, I'd have to look at my notes and hopefully my browser will press. Because I'm still in the habit when I'm on YT doing stuff, it's like it's handy just to put it right there and then try to put it somewhere else later. I don't always do it though, and then the browser crashes. Anyway, the other person it makes me think of is when I was quite young. Um, Actually, probably younger than I mean, I grew up around her. This lady and her husband, and some of her family. To be honest, they were like our family. But we moved away and lost touch. And she's like 80 now, probably, and he's passed away. But basically, a couple of years ago, but they lived across the street from us, and we used to go there. I think almost every day for tea. And I feel like even though I was like a kid, because like I lived in that house till I was about 6, but I honestly don't think I was drinking tea then. But then we would still visit them. I don't know about weekly, but but I know I would have been at least a teenager because after high school I moved where I live now, like right after high school graduation. Like I got my diploma, I hopped on a plane. No, just kidding. But like 2 or 3 weeks later or whatever. Um, but I feel like it was one of those things like for some of my teens, I maybe wasn't as into drinking it. So I would have been younger then. And I would just have tea with them. They were adults that liked tea, and I would drink tea. Uh, and I don't know if I should look it up or not. Uh, I just she she divorced her husband. They were with each other for a long time, and he was a little bit. I thought you said drinking tea and cuddling at first, and dunking a biscuit is very popular. I just don't like to get stuff floating in my tea. I don't like loose leaf either. I did know someone who read tea leaves though, or claimed to. She was in her 90s, bless her, kind of thing. She lived to 104. Speaking about good friends and old people. But is Clark here? Are you going to get to meet Clark? Maybe. But yeah, Marie, she does it, and my mother didn't know what her maiden name was. She should have, considering how well they knew each other. But she said it was something simple like Smith, which I oddly don't hear that often. Anyway, uh, uh, I'm tempted to look up Roger say again. Not chords. I'm obviously in music mode a little bit. Okay. Uh, yeah, that's the one. But the wife, I don't know what because she's not a Lantane anymore. So I don't know who she would be or what she would be. I just have to look at obits from that area. I know Chris might be saying maybe she could tell you if she's passed away. This is where I'd rather confirm it first. Um, but she was like a grandma to me. And I don't know if I would say she wasn't one that really was into phone calls, but she kind of wasn't. I don't know. She was more of a listener type. Obviously every now and then she would, say things, but she was more of a nod, listen, smile type. And I still remember the one time when she contacted my mother and say, "Oh, I can't talk on the phone with him right now. I'm recovering from my surgery." Well, then you're just hanging around the house anyway, recovering from your surgery. Why can't you? Why couldn't you have told me? I still hold that a little bit, apparently. Um, and it's not that she didn't care about me or didn't like me, you know. Uh, but basically, I don't know if she's still in that town because the shop closed. I don't know. I don't know how I'd find her. I don't know. But I do know that my cousin Marie has passed away. Oh, that lady looks quite old. Anyway, You eat out with family and friends, or just you and G? We do go out, but we try not to too often because I mean, it's all expensive. Whether you're shopping at a grocery store or eating out, but usually I can't convince him to do it all that often. And now that the weather is nicer, I don't know. I might treat myself every now and then when I get my checks, but uh, sometimes we order out, but then Skip has extra fees. I don't know if you probably don't even have Skip the dishes in the UK. Um, but and not much living local family like yourself. I mean, we have that in common. You should be remembering that, Chris. And mostly acquaintances these days. So would I like to? Maybe, but it's true. The more friends I date out with, the more I'd need to ask them to buy me a meal because I have just enough to make it. Really. Um, but I am going to be eating out possibly later this week with a family member. We would have done it Thursday, but really there's not much time before my workshop. I'm not going to specify the time. Well, I mean, with you it'd be fine, but why can't I find you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? Anyway. Um, but yeah, so basically, I'm just kind of curious. We could mostly be connected here though. But on second person, could you please at least say hi and give me a seventh like if you haven't liked yet? Thank you. Thursday, we technically sounds like we could be getting to get but then it could take just at least 2:15, and then we've only got 15-20 minutes. So he's got to, I think we'll probably get something wrong. Is that his gig? Because I wasn't asked to join. I don't know how many people have heard of the website Gig Salad. It's a weird name for a site, I understand, but he actually got prepaid for a gig and is going to be doing it soon. But he did that, and like he uses that site not often. Maybe he should because he gets gigs apparently. It's kind of far, but we have a ride, and I'm feeling a little mixed about it. I hope it's not awkward because normally it's just me that sees my mother these days, and it's an extra time when I still need her help to get to the other things is. But she's agreed. She knows about it. He knows she's agreed. So anyway, but and then he's only playing for about like 30 minutes. He might be a little bit later than that if he's talking with anybody afterwards, or whether it's the person that booked him, or which was the site, I think, or anybody else there, or gets a late start or whatever. But I'm hoping we'll find somewhere in the area to go to get something. But it might not be able to be a sit-down place, and I don't really do fast food that much either anymore. I mean, it's got all the components to be healthy stuff, but most of it isn't, as we know, right? I still had to laugh when that person brought KFC to the potluck the other day. But they may have went there for like an early lunch because they didn't want to wait till 2 to eat, or thought that they could also eat then. I did hear someone say, well, they were waiting for the potluck to start because there was other things going on at the event too. They needed some carbs and went to get a burger. So I mean, but I said to G, unless it was a chicken burger, I don't think you could get that at KFC. So, but anyway, so basically, either that or it was leftovers in their fridge, his fridge. I don't know. Anyway, the fries were kind of cold by that point. I don't actually remember seeing chicken. There was pasta and potatoes, or coleslaw and potato or pasta salad, and I know that they have it there, but this looked like it was more from the store. Anyway, blah blah blah. So, how about you though? I know you said it's expensive, and you're kind of not getting a lot of work right now. Are you getting some sort of support from like the government or anyone else? Out of curiosity, Christopher. And how's things with your neighbors? You still seeing them? I'm really thinking I will make some tea, to be quite honest. Almost talking me into it. Thank you for the 7th like. Appreciate it. So, there was a couple things floating through my mind. I'm just trying to see about going back to them. We got four of you here. Um, yeah, but like I said, my plan was in the evening, and the other plan was receiving a delivery. I put some of it away. The rest I don't really have to. And I should have known I'm going to be live streaming today. That being said, so here I am. Hi. So yeah, I might do some music covers soon. Why is it showing our city when I searched a different town? But I don't know if she's still in that town. Like I say, she lived kind of in front of a store, let's say, more of a food shop place that some of her family owned, but then it closed. And I don't know if there was another reason it closed. And we were under the impression she's been moved into a senior's home. I see the woman sometimes whose daughter was abused, and the daughter is not doing well after. Well, of course she isn't, right? I get sick. Hey, I'm not. Oh, okay. But how long has it been? Because it seems like a while ago that you told me. So, but does the daughter not still live in the house anymore? So, does anybody live in the house, or do you also have an empty house that, whether you want to say you wish that a homeless person could live in it? I mean, if it's not winter, it's not winter, or that something could be utilized for something. I mean, because that guy's probably not going back to it anytime soon. He probably deserves to stay where he's at. And as far as doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like either of them are living there. Unless I'm not understanding. But anyway, at the moment, minutes up, back to work you go. No, just kidding. But I hope you won't mind me asking a question, Christopher. Because you never have emailed me. That's fine. It's not a huge thing, but it's nice to be able to put a face to a name. And you've never updated your profile picture. And I'm not meaning to be racist at all, but I do know that a lot of Black people say minute when they mean a lot more than a minute. Are you Black? Or can you describe yourself a little bit? I'm curious. I once had one person, I wonder how Mackenzie's doing. I haven't heard from him in ages. Or maybe then. I once had him say that he looks like a Muppet. Speaking about puppets earlier, you're like, were we? No, but I was alluding to someone who gave me some puppets that I never use, and honestly, my hands get warm and dry so easily, and it's a bit of a trigger because of this person who was not a very fun and nice and well communicating recreation facilitator at a place, and she wasn't even around very much. I don't think anybody complained, but she did peek in a couple times, and G must have been being goofy because once he gets, goes into extra silly mode. The rare time he's had a puppet. Anyway, I don't know if I told you that man was sent. Okay, and the one that was in the candy van, maybe should be too. No, I'm white. I'll maybe send a photo one time. Just like to keep myself private. Well, I mean, you're on chat, but I mean, that's only there while we're doing the live. There's two other people here right now, and I'm just thinking about an experience. But you've always been so nice and kind, and mostly apologetic when you maybe made a misstep. This other guy I'm thinking of, he was nice. He was hyper, and it's not that far-fetched, the one thing he said. We have an 8th like. I don't know if Jordan's tuned in. But the other thing kind of was, and he was just looking for something. Anyway, silly to say. Anyway, but yeah. But you can also just describe yourself a little bit. I'm just curious to hear a bit more, about you in that way, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. So we're going to do some music in a moment, perhaps, but a certain somebody has kind of talked me into maybe having some tea. But as you can tell, some of you won't have heard the story. I'm not going to retell it, but just real quickly. And then, yeah, I'll do some songs. If you have song requests, if you have anything weighing on your heart, I don't want to be ignoring people that are scrolling through live streams looking for someone to talk to and thinking, well, he seems nice, but should I open up to him, but what I'm struggling with? You certainly can. You certainly can, and I'll try my best to help. But basically, and who was the eighth like? Like, I don't think it's someone who would necessarily, well, I should, I would assume, I would think it, I don't know, I shouldn't be under the impression that it's just someone who's very familiar with me that is happy to be in the chat. You know, either way, I do appreciate the like, though. But I also appreciate the chat. But no, if I was to, I don't usually think about this because I don't usually drink tea, and she very rarely drank coffee or served it that I know of. Like when I say I knew her family, and then there was another neighbor that was like family to her as well. Closer, felt closer to them than I feel kind of to my neighbors now, sort of. Anyway, I do feel like if she has passed away, then it would be a little bit easier to get past that. We could resume the connection and not feel like we've just lost touch and don't know how to reconnect. Because like I say, she's in her 80s, so she's not really. She did join Facebook for a little while there. I'm not using it that much anymore. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. But I think she was having difficulties and didn't really know what she was doing, and I don't know if anybody ever. It was one of those things that she joined for her grandkids, her grandkids and maybe even her great grandkids. But honestly, when I knew them back in the day, I don't know. She had some sort of issue with her son's wife, I think. I don't know, because she was never at their place. Maybe once in like the 17 or 18 years that we knew these people. And vice versa, the wife was never there. It was never really talked about. I don't really know what the issue was, but she also, I guess she saw those grandkids there growing up. Definitely. When we were all young, we were at her place, definitely. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I get a bit of a sense that she might not have stayed close with them as they got older. Life happens. She also has a granddaughter that has one or two kids and a very tough job if she's still doing it. And I don't think she's the same one that does bodybuilding. I don't think she is. Anyway, I miss all these people. It makes me think of Castle on the Hill. Not that we were in a castle or on a hill, but, thinking about the people that we've had in our life, when we were, I'll be right back. But I'll still talk. How's that? Because I'm still thinking and I'm still trying to keep the momentum going. And I'm in the kitchen. So while I'm here, I'm going to decide if I'm going to make tea. As far as Svetlana, how could I get past that? Well, that job wasn't meant for me. And why would I want a job that wasn't meant for me, even if it seemed like in some ways it was? So that being said, just doing something in the kitchen here. That being said, there's also that her roommate seemed a little bit interested in being in that performance that I created, but nothing ever came to be, and she really didn't try to help us. I wasn't connected with that person. I saw her at a family or at a holiday event. We actually were able to go spend Christmas Eve or somewhere right around Christmas with her, and I think once around New Year's too. Yeah, I think there was twice, and because I think I was already familiar with the roommate at that point, but like we weren't in touch. And this person had said they were interested, and I tried to say, "Can you help us connect?" And I know the person was moving; she was moving out of her home, but it should have been easier. And then we wouldn't have been. Well, we may have still been by one person shortcasted, but that's not the point, So I haven't really talked with her that much because that was just, yeah, those two things. But you know what? Like I said to someone on the weekend, this production that I did, so it was never live, but it was online live, and it was not just like not just like one of these live streams, but like there was lines to follow, there was music, there was rules, and I'm happy that it at least happened, that at least our efforts weren't completely wasted, but as far as And yeah, like I said, that job's not meant for me. So I mean, I guess it's a little bit easier to accept when you think of the positives, or when you think of the things that make it easier, right? So okay, as far as Marie, is there a positive to? I mean, when we moved, I had my other grandmother for about 7 or 8 years before she passed. Sorry, I don't like the lighting there. Um, um, Now it says nobody's here, but I'm going to keep on my train of thought, and that could be inaccurate anyway. I had my other, yeah. And I mean, I saw Marie in 2019, this other lady I'm talking about, when we traveled there. And I mean, she wasn't in great contact, you know, but I don't remember that being an issue. I was just looking forward to seeing her, introducing her to G. You know, it had been a number of years. But it's kind of like, you know, and this is, you know, I guess what I could say is that how this could benefit other people. I'm just a little bit chilly, so I have this this little, whatever you want to call it on. Anyway, this meta. It's just I would get too warm if I put a sweater on. I'd have it off in a few minutes, and then I'd get chilly again. You know, it's the anemia. Anyway, I'm here still leading. Okay, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, and so you know, maybe we have personal connections that you know have us feeling mixed feelings, and so that's what this can be about. You know, is how do we get past those mixed feelings? Like the one on the weekend. I don't think I talked about it here, but basically, you know, and the same with that David guy, kind of, maybe both of them. But the thing is like, you know, I mean, because this happens in life as you get older, you know, and it does, it happens. Young people might not know much about it, but yet they might. I don't know, because there's such a thing as ghosting or whatever, you know. But basically, okay, I'm gonna not make tea until I've got myself a little bit more like making tea. You know, sometimes it's just doing something more times and associating it with different things. And the mind will remember some of those things. But for me, that would take a lot because I'm still going to remember the other things, you know? But yeah, so, you know, if you've ever had, you know, someone that you've drifted from, maybe there was reasons, maybe there wasn't, you know, this talk might be for you. So I was thinking about somebody, and the thoughts were holding me back from something I wanted to do that day, which I did do, but that bike needs some adjustment. And basically, I thought to myself, you know, maybe, you know, it's good to always not try to be, you know, always find ways to see, you know, I don't know, it's hard. It is hard, but find ways. I'll be back on the camera in a moment. But to, like, for instance, that one thing that I found out I had in common with this other friend, maybe he's not living into it that much either, in which case it wouldn't really feel like I had it in common with him. Maybe he would be, because he would be that type, surprisingly private about it. And it's kind of like, but why don't you feel like you can be comfortable around me? It's like, it's not that I don't feel like I'm comfortable around you. It's just that I don't, you know, feel like it's necessary to focus on it. I don't know. Anyway, and yes, I'll accept the apology you must have said to yourself or in your head, you know, in your head or out loud about that other thing you brought up on that Guinness stream. It's fine, Chris. I really appreciate you. Anyway, that was a moment right there, and that felt so easy, I tell you. But yeah, basically, so yeah, so, and you know, it's actually better for him. Congratulations. Oh, hello. Oh, so are you going to start going live, and what kind of videos are you going to do? Have you been able to yet, out of curiosity? Do you see the, if you're talking about Quilif Noah, that's not spam. That's not spam. I know it was kind of an interesting thing to just jump in with, but he's obviously excited. I've had him on the channel before. Last couple of times, not super long, but the first time or two, yeah, because you've been on about 3 or 4, right? Yeah. And if you're talking about something else, you don't have to tell me what it is, Chris. Just, you know, if it seems like it's very obviously trolling and not trying to contribute positively to the conversation, you know what to do. I'm okay. I'm okay. So what we're doing is we're talking about social connections, and I'm not expecting another phone call, so hopefully this don't take long. You can stay. You can totally stay. No, it's speaking of spam, it's spam. Is there something you can press when you answer? It's going to start ringing. Is there something you can press to block a call? Because I was looking through the menus. It's a landline because I'm home a lot and I have one of those too, and I can't afford being on a cell network. Um, I don't want them to hear a voicemail. Okay, never mind. It's just a dial tone. Do I see what? Who are you talking about? Can I call you? I don't know. Is there a nickname I can call you, Quilif? I probably asked that before because I feel like that's your last name. I don't really want to call you that first. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the first name. No, nothing personal. Um, and if that's what you're speaking about, again, Chris, no issue there. And if it's not, and I'm not saying it, just take care of it. I will try my best to trust your judgment because I'm only seeing you and who for now I will call Quilif. So, anywho, basically, yeah. So it's kind of like I remember the last time I saw him, and I didn't feel like I was being that chatty, that hard to process. But to him, I was. He struggles with mental health, and like he didn't have like a strong reaction, but he said something either while we were still with each other, like in person, or afterwards, and he says, I was struggling to keep up. I think it was something like that. I talk in variety, like sometimes I'm fast, sometimes I'm slow, when I'm passionate about something or feeling really energetic or whatever. But and you can always tell me to repeat something if you didn't quite catch something. And if I think it's worth doing so, I'll do so. I'll be happy to. But yeah, that's not always how someone feels in their head though, right? No, I'm saying yours, Chris. So that must be your. Anyway, Qualif, do you have a nickname? How are you today? Glad to have you here. No need to rush off. The tea would warm me up. So, but okay, back to that one. So yeah, but no, so it's actually probably better for him. It would be nice if we still message each other a bit more often. But he's just not. He's one for nature, no matter the weather. He's one that's trying to be his best parent he can be and partner he can be. They can be whatever you want to say. Um, Good. And now I see just your name and a blue line beside it, vertical line, and I don't see what you're trying to put there, Chris. Nothing's happening when I click that. Anyway, so where are you watching from again? Are you also in Malaysia, Quilif? That would probably, maybe you would, I don't know you super well, but you may have been a better person to connect Jordan to. Anyway, I don't mean to talk about them when they're not here. One of them, better not be. You are, okay. I had the most interesting thing happen. I'll just share a bit of it. Basically, there was a guy who was being abused, a young man, and one of my other viewers who I don't talk with anymore, but it was really nice that he did this. He was 4 hours away, approximately, working in another part of Asia, even though he's originally from Ireland, and he got him to safety, got him to a place that I wasn't sure what I thought so far. And obviously he's meeting a variety of people who have been through some pretty intense stuff, but sounds like they've got some great programming and stuff. And it's just so interesting that precipitated because of my stream. And it's one reason why I keep rolling. Not that I'm, always looking to do that kind of thing, but I mean, if it happens and it gets somebody in a better spot in their life, then that's good. I mean, actually, I didn't because I've still been watching it, but that doesn't mean it's not prioritized. But and hopefully, like he's old enough that they should, or at least pretty darn close that they should respect his decision to stay there and figure out where else he wants to go and not send it back home. But and hopefully, even though his parents may be angry, hopefully they've realized, okay, so you felt like you were being abused to the point where you felt like you had to run away from home. And you might say, well, someone suggested it, but either way, he agreed with it. And it's like, wake up call, eye opener, for them. So, yeah, and that phrase about I can't believe it really, could be taken as you don't believe him or you don't know what to believe. But anyway, point of my being is, yeah. So anyway, but he was in Malaysia. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. So, Chris, are you still there? Do you not have a nickname? Oh, okay, I see it now. Just put a user you've logged in time up for 30 seconds. Okay, now I see that. It's kind of in a darker font, and your name. Oh, you've updated your picture, Chris. Oh no, okay. Never mind. Um, for 300 seconds. 300 seconds. That doesn't sound right. That's weird. That's weird, man. And put a user that I don't block anybody in this chat. So that's strange. No strange things, please, because I can't handle it. Anyway, so but yeah, as far as what's your face, because I'm really wanting a cup of tea now, if not more coffee. Sometimes we start to realize that people are just certain chapters in our life, and it's nice if they can, be with us in most of our life. But sometimes, and it takes some thinking sometimes, right? It takes some kind of working through this and deciding. I know that, although I mean, I heard NGs, whatever. Anyway, but I know that my mother been thinking about trying to reach her if she still has a number, but it may have changed. She might not even have a phone at all. She might have a room phone if she's in a senior's home now. And that's the thing. One thing I got to realize, like maybe, a lot of this time since we've lived in this province, we could have been in more touch and she would have been more able to. Now she might have Alzheimer's, which, funny, I saw an article about that. Not really funny, but it said, I opened it. I thought I might talk about it with someone tonight. I didn't want to forget anything. Anything important, but it said that Alzheimer's starts most often in children. I'm not too sure what to think of that at the moment, but anyway, so she might, or deafness, like she at this point in time, she wouldn't be able to communicate anyway. So, and back then, I mean, her grandkids were moving, to different places or whatever. I don't know how often she was really seeing them. She was largely a homebody. But you know what? Like I say, she is a bit older, so maybe she was more of a, even though phone calls isn't, like social media or whatever, maybe she was more of the type of person that preferred in person. And oh my gosh, Roger is telling me that he didn't necessarily see it as much when they lived with each other and he was alive, but he said that it was actually pretty hard for her to think of having a connection that wasn't in person because we had so much of that. And that, this is interesting. It's a very interesting answer that I hadn't really expected or really thought of until today. I don't think of it often, but I mean, she was kind of like my grandmother, and I mean, when you're living far away from someone and they're not as great at staying in touch, you maybe don't think of them very often, but certain things make kind of get you to, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, so I can have empathy for her then, and I can realize that it wouldn't be the same, and I can realize that was that chapter in life, and it was great, and it was lovely, and I can look at it with a smile and have my tea. And that's how that kind of thing can work when you talk it through, whether it's yeah. So I don't really like that they're loose tea bags, but I like a stranger. Just kidding. But so that's kind of 3 recently. And you would think, well, he's gonna spread such a rumor. He didn't say it with complete conviction. He said may likely be. I don't know why. And it's just and as far as the other thing, people have any orientation can be. But yeah. he said that, and that was the tipping point. Also, his kind of not being able to pull the reins a little bit, So, yeah. Now I would use this, or possibly this, maybe this, even though anyway, more likely this. But I know it says a certain thing on it that I don't know if I want to live stream with it. It's not terrible, but it's not always the case either. I mean, like, our dog was distracting us so much that I was like, that's not welcome. You're going upstairs. People, next thing. Depends on the person. And yeah, so anyway, and as far as this, I mean, it was, doesn't matter. I could rinse it out. I don't know if I like the texture. It's more for going out and about with. So, very happy to have whoever is here. I believe it's Chris, but not sure. And I don't know if there's anybody else here, but I'm seeing that there's just one. Very happy to have you here. I truly am. And I would like to introduce you to two Rogers. And it's ironic because the other lady I was talking about was also with the Roger. And how did I not realize that? Okay, so the lady that was like a grandmother to me, her name was Marie. I had a cousin whose name was Marie, who looked like this other tea lady, as we call her. But they didn't all look like each other. The one Marie had been married to, or at least with a Roger for a long time. This other lady that looked like the other Marie was with a Roger. That's probably why I didn't make the connection, because it's a little convoluted. But at the same time, if I thought about it for a few minutes, I would say, well, that's kind of ironic. But anyway, so Roger is French, but I think he was from New Brunswick. No, he must have been from Montreal, but I think he's lived in New Brunswick. Canadian French. I couldn't tell you a lot of the difference, but Canadian French. And then the other Roger is a motorcycle 11 guitar playing, singing guy. Both Rogers actually played a little bit of guitar, so Roger that. Anyway, I need to pick a cup. Who's the second person? And Chris, are you still there? And what cup am I picking? That's the one that kind of jumps out first, and I'm kind of thinking a little bit of my actual grandmother with that one. And today this moment without crashing. This moment of, because I said about food something like that. Because quite honestly, I'm not too sure if any of the other ones are jumping out really, except for that one, which I do often use as a teacup. Sometimes I put whiskey in a teacup. What's that? Just a little, 18 plus joke. Although lots of people under 18 are drinking too. But anyway, they shouldn't be. Anyway, so if you had, no, but that's the one thing I don't like about that one. But then this one, I think it's this one, folks. I think it's this one. And my grandparents had the same set, or very similar. Probably the same maker. That it doesn't even say who it is on the base of it for some weird reason. But yeah, it's either that or the big blue. Good to see you. Really glad to have you here. Welcome to the humble abode. For only like the second time, but it hasn't been that long, right? Anyway, I got to get back to our viewers in a moment here, but would you like a cup of tea? I'm not British, I'm French. Trying to imitate his laugh. Anyway, Christopher, are you there? Qualif, are you here? Where are you? So yeah, I'm thinking this one. I'm thinking this one, though I'd like to think this one, or maybe that one, or this one, or this one. I don't know, I guess it's this one, or maybe it is this one, and I don't associate it with Dallas or Texas anymore, or even a place that I used to adore, or even the places that I'd love to play more. But I can sit down and have a cup of tea with my grandparents spiritually. So, there. That's what we're doing then. Golly. Now, I make tea so infrequently. Christopher, are you there? You're the tea aficionado, and I have a question. Remember, I wondered about this last time I made tea, but I think the fact that you're putting it in water means like the tea bag's not going to burn in the microwave. So 126, nobody here, or at least it doesn't look like it. I almost picked the other one. I accept this one's easier, I think, for me. I accept that my one, and possibly also this other one, I don't know yet, but I accept that my one grandmother has passed away because she was in her 80s, I mean, my grandpa was quite a bit older than that. They both have, That being said, I also have my other set of grandparents that none of all one each of them made it past 50. I never met them. I'm not ready without certainty to ascertain whether Marie has passed away. So I could introduce you a little bit to my grandmother. This is the only picture with her in it. Okay. And if it's not Christopher, whoever that one person is, they're probably like, why would we care? I don't know. Maybe you can have special moments with a lost loved one like this too. YT community is very important, and I appreciate it. But as far as so when I have a picture of Roger, if I still have that album down here, it's right here actually. I want you to get visuals to the best of my ability of the people that I'm talking about, okay? That picture of my grandmother, my other grandmother, I'm not seeing it around here. That's fine. Just imagine, it's a black and white photo. Just imagine a kind of slim lady with, I don't know if she had curly hair, but she kind of had big-ish black hair, like vintage shape, because this was, a while ago. I feel like I shouldn't disclude my grandfather. He's like, yeah, he didn't show me in this picture. He's like, I may have been old-fashioned at one point and not care, but I appreciate it, Seemed to have more of a sense of humor than you had back then, too. Are you saying I'm not a fun guy? My goodness. It's like learning about Clark and learning about how he's a bit more able to articulate. And I've alluded enough to it, and he gets the sense. He hasn't said much, but I didn't know how much he picked up on it. But what is that? Is Anyway, so this album here, and that book, which I played not that long ago, which I meant to bring the other day. But yeah, that's a great segue to the story. It'll be mine. Hopefully Mark and Kelly will come back. I'm hungry, and it's not 11 o'clock yet. Is it? No. In about an hour, I can have my wrap. But an hour's far away. Neither of those cookies we were nibbling at the potluck. And that muffin was tiny, but they're also good for snacks because I'm getting, well, I said about 6 hours probably. I can't afford to have 5 because sugar keeps me awake. But that's what I had last night, and it didn't keep me awake. But then I had a very active day too. So, well, we'll do a little try it out tonight and see how we go. Now this is old school, I do realize, but I had a loved one who was into doing this kind of thing, and it's actually interesting because I have an Asian Georgian in my family. Not that I'm talking much about him or anything, but obviously this is someone I met recently, and there's been interesting kind of things to process about it. And I was thinking about this relative recently. It's attached to the book. He's much older now, this guy, and he's married. He owns a business. He is but my grandmother, grandpa, and me as a teen are also in it. He is and so they never had a lot of grandparents, or grandkids rather. Maybe that's great grandkids. He is the stepson of my aunt's daughter. if that makes sense. But anyway, what I'm really focusing on is my grandparents in this one. And I know that Roger is in this one in a couple of photos. That's a decent, well, I don't know if that's a good picture or not. I think there's a better one. I just don't like the word at the top and it's kind of dark. I still think there's a better one. There's a bunch of stuff stuffed in that page there. No, he's not in that photo. Maybe he took the picture, but I don't think so. Mark and Marie that I was talking about are in there, and the other Marie, but there's a... This is kind of funny. So, I'm getting hungry. I need to eat something. You know, that'll still cover a few breakfasts or snacks for both. But here is my wrap. Actually, I have the other half of this, although it's mostly just it up. Anyway, so my cousin Mark, who came up the other day in conversation, should I get my tea started? Because I talked myself into it, right? Who's the second person? Chris, are you still there? Willie, are you still there? Who's the second person? Who we got watching? Anyway, I'm going to put this in here. Now, it's not really boiled. It's being heated up. But I don't want to use water bottles. This is how I always make tea. I always survive. And it's like, oh, okay. Sorry to say that if Chris or Willie are watching or anybody else. At this point, I don't know if there's been anything that I would say afterwards. There's a thing about my plate. Yeah, and it's just another thing to talk about what's the face. Well, it's a quick update about that, whether we need to or not. It's whatever she wants to bring into it. It's maybe something on my phone that I want, notes and that, whatever. Maybe better. So far, I don't know. They're really heavy, but anyway. So, yeah, family can be unempathetic, small, distant, estranged, or in heaven, aka not close enough for good souls who are such great relatives, who love strongly, who always willing to support, and who show love in healthy ways. But yeah, as far as what that lady said, that one thing that lady said, I can do it for myself and for other people. I'm not a serene. Maybe it's my generation, but a lot of people of her generation use it well. I'm not one that's gonna just, I do sometimes, but go about activities. It's nice to have the company. That's basically what I'll say. That doesn't mean that I'm also not in the present and appreciating what I'm doing for me, but it means that I can have other people along with me. On a live stream most often is, but not only. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, it was a little bit chilly, so I had this on. But okay, so who are the two people watching? I want to ask you, Nick. And it's early enough that I guess I'll put a bit more sugar in it. I'm not going to sleep anytime soon, so I can stand to have some sugar in my tea. And do we want to do it exactly like how Marie? So that was the funny thing. So Mark and my cousins, Mark and Marie, they're both fairly tall. Roger's kind of tall. Mark was actually not that much taller than my mother because she's standing in front of him in this picture, and comes up to almost his nose, so you can smell whatever hair product she's used. Or if she hasn't used any, just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Only I'm allowed to make such jokes up. And then I could show you Maria in this picture. It's not a bad picture of Roger too, but there's a lot of people in it. There's a lot of people in it, and Marie's kind of looking sideways. She looks like she's looking down on the other Marie's head. It's like, oh, you're the short Marie. And that Marie is so short that a kid that's standing in front of her can see the top of her head. So I've got to show you what I'm talking about here. Where is it? That picture there. I know it's old school albums. I don't know how it shows with the plastic, but like I say, I had someone special in my life who showed me how to make these things back in a day when they would have been more made, I guess. And then today, that feels, that's rough sounding. Cup to stir in. I know that sounds weird, but you can hear it, right? Anyway, but I know you didn't like the picture. Imagine what they think of the one that I think I'm about to woo, kawoo. And it's not hot. Don't cry, always put milk. What up, bro? Andrew G. Hello, I think I remember you, do I? I know Andrew G is a common name, but I almost recognize your picture, and it looks like you're playing a keyboard or in it, the small view that I can see. Is that right? Forget where you're watching from, and glad to have you back, or here for the first time, whichever it is. How are you doing today? And to the other three, don't be shy. Yes, you remember me, and I guess you remember me. So, points for both of us, right? Do you remember me? Where we used to be? And I can remind every time I walk a street alone, sitting by the phone. Anyway. Somebody wants you, somebody needs you, somebody thinks about every single night, somebody cares for you only, and they hope. Anyway, it's a little bit lovey-dovey, but fun song, and obviously your comment made me think of it. Not that picture is my home city, San Antonio. Oh, I only know the song from San Francisco. Are you going to San Francisco? There's gonna be a flower in your hair. Oh, if you are going. It might be cold enough in here. The AC is not hooked up yet. We didn't do that on the weekend. We didn't have a lot of time today anyway. It must be to put the heat on, but it's cold. I might actually have to put a sweater on. What am I doing? Making tea, being nostalgic, chatting, singing, obviously. What are you doing? Watching the live stream. I'm wondering what the heck's going on. Just kidding. Anyway, so it's really sad that most of the people I'm not in touch with anymore. It's really, really sad. You know, but let me just quickly look here. I'll be right back with you, folks. That tea tastes funny. It needs something. I don't know what. More sugar? I don't know. Are you going to San Francisco? Oh, flower in your hair. Sorry. So how's your day going? So San Antonio, we got to be pretty close in time zone. That's Texas, actually. I would imagine that we're the same time as everywhere in Texas, because we're certainly I do know we are the same time as some places in Texas. So yeah, she's probably in Texas. Alabama. You probably guessed it. You guessed it. She's probably in Texas. I'm feeling a little silly. 10:27. Yeah, that's about what it is here. Yeah, exactly. The time I'm looking at here is two minutes different than that, but Potato, potato, potato. Are you here? If so, say something. Someone will hopefully let me know. They'll have to because right now my laptop I'm unable to look at it. So, Andrew, I'm not sure if I asked this question of you last time, and you're just having a relaxing day at home, relaxing morning. What you're doing today, out of curiosity? And one other question for right now: do you believe in the afterlife? I know it might seem like a random question, but it's not. I promise. Do you believe in the afterlife? You think, really don't think. Certainly haven't said anything to my singing. You're probably like, yeah, there's lots of good singers, unless you sing a song I'd like to hear. You're just singing. No, just kidding. That's just my humor. I'm not meaning to put words in mouths. Maybe a little bit, and if you haven't liked yet, please do. I appreciate it. On a morning. But the answer to your question, what am I doing? Well, I know that. I was more curious about the other answers to the question, which I would be less likely to know unless you answered them. So please and thank you. Yes, I do believe in the afterlife. Okay, great. Because just before you got here, I was thinking about my grandparents, and it's weird. It is weird, but he was a bit more quiet, reserved. Roger, and I've completely been ignoring the other one if he's present. Again, I really appreciate the YT community, even when I'm having, spiritual visits, because I do sometimes experience that. And I've been keeping in practice with it lately for the most part. So it's kind of like, some people may, I don't know, I'm just thinking of it now. Some people might think, well, yeah, he's on YouTube, but he's having a personal moment with his loved ones. You're welcome to be here and see how it unfolds. Rip Onk, even though he's alive. Anyway, and I always said that. Some of the things he said just, oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry. But no, but I've heard of it, and somebody called it an old Disney movie, but they obviously don't know about much of the happy to be here chatting with you. Really, I am. I'm going to have early lunch soon. But I would like to introduce you, and I just showed pictures of some of them. So you weren't here. You'll just have to appreciate what you are here for. Because, and why are you asking about that movie, by the way? Oh, because the person who told me about that one, I believe he said that there was aspects of the afterlife in it. Some sort. And I really should watch it. I know I looked it up. I don't remember what I felt. But now I know that I don't know. And he was one that I met pretty recently. I met, and not long after that, we're doing streams together. So, but anyway, so yes, whether I'm experiencing this ability or not, I'm really happy to have you here to chat with. The wording is a little bit confusing to me, but I think that's how you see the world in life. And maybe also you're saying how you believe in the afterlife. Well, how I believe in it is because I've channeled it. So, but again, it's a different type of connection. I appreciate the connections I have otherwise too. And these days it is largely here and with the person I live with, but I'm not really using a lot of other social media. But I do have others. And like I say, I met some people, well, really just the one. I had like a 2 to 5 minute conversation with a couple other people. I had like a 30 or 40-minute conversation with her, and if Mark and Kelly get back, again, they know I do long trips. They're off today. Hopefully they'll go do their thing. They'll come home and see. So let's see where this goes. Now, I was mentioning a little earlier about my grandmother, Marie, and then there's also Linda. I have like 5 grandmothers. 2 of them are Scottish. Imagine that, eh? No, anyway, but I have 2 actual grandmothers, obviously, because everyone does, whether they know them or not. And then I have 2 that I kind of look at, 2 or 3. 2 that I look at like grandmothers. But as I mentioned, Marie is a little bit quieter, whereas the one that I never actually met in the physical, but have been blessed to be able to meet this way, isn't as much so. So I'm actually sensing something very interesting. When it's on, folks. I'm sensing that Marie, who is married to the one Roger, is they're actually catching up. And I don't know what that means when I actually stop and think about that for a moment, because as I mentioned, I'm not sure if this Marie has passed away. Um, so I don't know if he's having a spiritual visit with her right now while he's here, because I'm not paying attention to him. He's like, I still like my tea. Well, you ain't getting it because you can't drink it. Okay, cool. Yeah, you kind of left abruptly, but I'm glad to have you back. Meet Andrew. He's cool. Meet Andrew. He's cool. Meet Chris. He's also cool. And I'm glad that if you left the home for a bit, you didn't continue watching, because who knows what you got into. Don't tell me. Anyway, so this is very interesting. I've never experienced this before. I mean, yeah, Marie may have passed away, but to my knowledge, she hasn't. She's not coming through strongly, but again, that could be her personality. But then I've also learned, but compared to like Clark and how neither of them said much, they had, mostly I would say, like Clark was much more quirky. They had a different kind of quietness about them. Like, yeah, because like I say, Clark was more goofy and quirky. So I don't know if because I'm not picking up on her means that she hasn't passed away, or that she has. So Roger, keep me posted about that. Who else did we have here joining me and Andrew and Chris? Hopefully both Andrew's still here. I know I was hoping to hear from my other grandmother, and I heard of somebody mentioning their grandmothers. So yeah, the 32s. There was something about Kim, the funeral sandwiches, right? There was somebody mentioning their granddaughter or their grandmother, Sadie. So I do feel like Sadie's here. The other Marie, she didn't come this time, darling. She said that she was around during one of your other visits. And honestly, I sensed Mark and his brother more. Mark was her wife. I sensed them more at that visit. But I do kind of, obviously when I think of him, I think of her too. And I kind of wondered if she was around, but I don't remember, with care and kindness for you and smile and a hello. But yeah, and again, like I say, I never met her in my actual life, but I do sense, I don't know if quirky is the word, but very warm, very friendly. My other grandmother, she was very Scottish, and I remember that about her occasionally or whatever. But it's kind of like, I can't remember if I passed away if she believes in the afterlife. But anyway, so what she did was she kind of, and not to be scared or anything, like I say, she's a warm, friendly soul. But what she did is she kind of came over and looked at the screen. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's very loving and nurturing. And she's like, why, thank you. I'm very curious about what's going on with the other Roger Murray. If he is sitting on that chair over there, talking to her on Earth as an angel, being in our home. That's the impression I'm getting. So that gives me an answer. That gives me an answer that the other Marie might be alive. She might not be doing well, but each other. She's like, you let them do them, dear. She's like, you don't have to concern yourself with that right now. Now talk about being authoritative. She's like, I did not shout at you. I said, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. But she's like, I'm just happy to be back here. And I've got to ask her, how often have you been? Because I've only sensed you about 3 or 4 times. I got this ability at about 25, almost 12 years more than that. And I feel like it was just 5 or 6 years. But I almost remember her saying what she's going to remind me of now. She's like, I'm sorry if this is hard for you. But she says that she thought that I might be mad with her, not want to hear from her because, one, we'd never met. So I remember that one time when she told me, and it's ironic because I remember, I think the first time I was in that room, which I hardly ever go in anymore, but I can associate it with that. And that I did have some success with that show. She's like, that's right, darling. But anyway, basically, um, uh, so I didn't really know her. But also, she pointed out once, she's like, go ahead if you'd rather say it. uh, and she's saying, no, she's like, if I may, it might be a little bit easier for you if I do. Well, I'm still verbalizing it. She's like, that's your choice. But she says, I knew it would be very hard for him that when he lost his father, I got him back. She's like, that's something that I can't change, But she says, when I first met him, the lovely person that he is, she says, when I first met him, her name is Sadie, if you'd like to say hi to her. She says, I should have, but I was so focused, even though I'm very relaxed and kind of energetic, go with the flow. She says, I was very focused on making that first connection with him after observing him for quite a while. She says, so it wasn't in my mind at the time. It did come to me not long after. She says, he's got a connection with his father, though, in spirit, which is stronger than it really had ever been in life. And she's like, so you didn't lose any of us, dear. And it's a good reminder to other people that have lost loved ones that they haven't either. Not in the physical, yes, obviously, but otherwise, no. And if Christopher's still watching, I know you've lost a lot of loved ones. So have I. I'm used to mine. I mean, again, well, let's see. Are you still watching? Or is it Andrew? I see one person there right now. It might not be accurate. There may be more. I should bring the dog down, but he's just going to be noisy. Oh, the cute puppy. He's so lovely, she says. And she's also saying that was really nice to see us having a good time and doing some music lesson. We will listen. Hi, Grandma. It seems like a theater thing. I mean, I should just do an improvised. Kind of like that one. Anyway, because it almost feels like a little bit of a play, but it's not. And what's the face? Man, I'm not be at work with you. That thing doesn't get the internet. I'm not, unless I can do it on here. Let me just quickly look. Say that, but we kind of didn't. It's just spinning and being wonky. But she's like, no, I will address that for a moment. You're right. We didn't raise our daughters that way. And you've noticed. And it's okay. Oh, look it. With this one, it's already opened. Do that? That sounds a lot like. I don't think you can hear it, can you? Well, she may be busy, but curious, and some people don't like to have messages that aren't read, aren't opened, even if they don't really have the time to look at them, or maybe they think they have the time initially and they don't. That kind of my mother hasn't either. I almost feel like she's requesting that when I see my mother next time that I give her a hug. Awkward, awkward. I mean, G almost has to pull teeth for one. I mean, kind of like she'll give him one, but it's like Like as soon as he mentioned it, she's not like, "Oh yes, of course." She's like, "Oh, okay," kind of thing, you know. Um, my grandmother's actually cool and happy to have you here. But if it's somebody else, I'm not saying you're not cool. I'm just saying that if this isn't your kind of thing, go watch something that is. There's lots of stuff you can be watching. I'm not bothered. I'm having my company, my visit right now. You're welcome to be here, but try and have some understanding and kind thoughts. If you're not, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying if you're not, because to my knowledge, there's somebody watching and they're not saying anything, and that's a little bit perplexing, basically. Um, but as for answering her question, and as far as her other request, she's like, it didn't have to, which means doesn't in Scottish, it didn't have to be from you, even though it would be. Would you do it for me? You know, whether I tell her it's from her or not, I don't know. But that does take the awkwardness out of it a little bit. That unfortunately I feel. I will try to remember and make it happen. It's weird that this never came up before. Um, tea wasn't all that great. Orange Coat should have been better. I don't. And I used to think it was because they were cremated, but for the fact that it doesn't seem like, well, because it's not a different device. As far as email, it doesn't work on this device. So it doesn't work at all as well. But yeah, so basically, and why is this open? Well, I guess because I had it open. I was looking for a FB tab that worked. I feel like there's been a lot that transpired within this. And I feel like some of it's been kind of brushed off. Or mother, she's like, well, all I really want. And I'm not used to hearing it. I mean, I haven't, she passed away probably about 14 years ago, though it doesn't feel like that long. I think I've only channeled her 3 or 4 times. And I remember that we went out for lunches together and we lived with them for a while. And we went, we spent the holidays with them and that. But other than that, and again, if it's too deep, I'm going to want to tell her that I just don't know what she's going to say. I don't want to see her emotional. I don't think it's that she fully doesn't believe, but I think that, I don't know, she might actually experience some jealousy. I think that's something she probably still struggles with too. She may not admit to it, but I think she does. Now I have a bit of a toothache in my side, Tyler. But yeah, basically she's saying that I just want to make sure you were okay today. I just wanted to say hi and let you know I'm thinking of you, is actually how she worded it, which isn't that unique of wording, but kind of. And she says if you want to do it after you get dropped off at a certain thing, and there's more sense, because otherwise I'm kind of staying with her the whole time, then that's when you do it. It'll be quick. It'll be awkward. I know it will be. But I think I'd like to do this for my grandmother. I see her grab my grandfather's hand and kind of gradually float upwards as they're fading. So that's what she came here to do. He didn't, well, he let me know that he is happy. He let me know that he has a sense of humor on the other side that I didn't really see in this life. He was a very quiet, reserved man. I think only, I guess I'm simply happy to know that, Yeah, I'm gonna wait on this for tomorrow to see what the weather's like. A slight toothache, and it is actually on more on the sense of that. At the moment, though, it's still where I can kind of ignore it. If it gets worse, though, I will have to call and ask him where he's got those things. Yeah, don't want you in any kind of pain, dear. To let you know, I was thinking, I know that's awkward to the person that just came in, unless I already, they've already been. Anyway, point of the matter being is, anyway, so basically, she came to hear me do music. So hopefully, you will also enjoy that. And yeah, that's what that's at. Oh, that reminds me, I just found something sitting here, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool indeed. And again, it's sort of making me think of Marie and Roger. I said, I don't know. You don't have to worry about that. I just need to very, very quickly, under 5 minutes, go to the other room. Then I'm going to introduce you to a neat instrument, some music. We can chat. We'll have a good time, and it'll be good. The only one home other than the dog, who I should go check on shortly. And I really want to have lunch soon. And to me, it doesn't matter whether I'm eating before or after. I mean, it's daytime, but sometimes the clouds really do get dark. And that would be the kind that I'd be able to sleep in during the day. Like not sleep in, but sleep during. You know what I mean? Never will. Be right there, under 5 minutes, folks. Taking care of a couple of quick health things. I'm so excited. He's gonna play music for us. After I rub this stuff on my hair jack. Hear from Gary. He's watching too. He's watching too. He just wants you to focus on what you're doing. Okay. Well, I sat down and I forgot the instrument, so, or maybe I should go to the instrument. So actually, it seems, I mean, it's earlier in the day. It actually seems a little bit different in there than it seems in here. But I think one more thing. Okay, I'm actually thinking maybe keyboard. That's what I'm kind of thinking. And if I do that, then I could let the dog back downstairs and hopefully he would just relax. So I might do that in a moment. But first I wanted to introduce you to something really interesting. Now, some of you might find it a little bit loud. I don't think so, though. So maybe you can adjust your volumes if you need to. It's a very cool thing. And this is probably better to do with the dogs upstairs. And like I said, we were at something on the weekend, and I brought these. I didn't really do anything with them while I was there, but they were on the table, and it was so weird because I was coming out from the washroom, and G brought some stuff. I almost think all of it because I don't think I put anything in that car yet. And basically, and I guess between him and the other guy, or him, 1 or 2 trips, because it was quite a lot of stuff. And I says, are you sure you got everything? Did you look on the ground? And I said, I see something on the table. So I went back, and it was this. If you don't like that sound, just let me know. But otherwise, I might keep using it a bit here. Like, I guess if you have a sense of rhythm and you have good control over it, it kind of works. I'm thinking of a Ed Sheeran song, actually, ironically, which would be a great segue to another Ed Sheeran song. But where I go, I know it's a certain type of song that has certain type of lyrics, but I would think, I know that has the word up in it. Love lifts us up where we belong. No, anyway, if you have a song request for these things, let me know. Let me know. I know that sounds funny, but I'll also sing with it if I feel like I need to keep things moving and grooving with it. Now, as far as this goes, as much as I want to keep these in here, I really wish Mark and Kelly were still here. But they wanted to go out for their brunch. Hopefully they'll be back. I don't have a way of I could send it there. Do I want to? I mean, part of me thinks they might just notice anyway. Part of me thinks that. But I also means going to email, though. I'm not going to see when I do so. Plus, it's using it. Oh, that's so great. I'm really hungry. I want to eat. I'm really hungry. I'm just going to send him a very quick one. Doesn't need a reply or anything. But yeah, I'm going to have a meal too because I'm hungry. Did I mention that yet? Whether I need to have this open on the computer, I don't feel a strong need at the moment. But there is a bit of a reason why I think so. And it's called potato. I'm sorry. I haven't forgotten that person. Again, we don't forget people that are nice and who we've enjoyed, knowing, or the opportunity to continue to know. So, the community here too, but the one Roger, I don't believe was she did, but she's saying whoops. 62, 32. I think Ray was here earlier too. She is saying that, but if you're hungry, eat. If it will help you focus. And she even makes a bit of a joke like, and I think you could use some help with that. Excuse me. No. She's like, I'm only joking, dear. I'm only kidding. She's like, I'd let you do music and I'd make it for you if I actually physically could. But I can't. So, you're the one, doing this show, says to me pretty much. So, and I thought I put these back in order, but they don't seem to be, which is kind of annoying. So I'll maybe do that while I'm out there. Whether it's all the pages or not, well, it looks like there's as many as 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 12. So, okay, I'm eating. Come with me, and we'll make something tasty. You won't be able to have it, but you can have it. You can make something for yourself if you want to. Chris is annoying me with this with that reason. I will say that. But again, can't dislike the guy. He's just too fabulous. Anyway, now do I want to bring the dog down? Because after I do this, I am going to probably be on the keyboard. So I'm going to be doing stuff in the kitchen. He might come over. I'm going to do that, I think. Doesn't have to be up there. So I'll be right back. Just running upstairs for like 2 minutes. And then I'll be making, I don't know, it's not that fancy. And I've been eating a few of these kind of things recently. It's not that fancy, but it is good eating. And I appreciate it. So I really should try and do that. I mean, you know, it's always a bit embarrassing when I've got nothing but time. And I'm multitasking. I don't do it. But I did bring up some of the laundry. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, folks? Sorry to wander off and be kind of wandering around. Wandering around. Sorry. Oh, I don't know what kind of... Now I can't pick my plate. I tell you. I can pick my nose, but I can't pick my plate. So I'll go with plain white because I have no feelings about a plain white plate. Other than that, it's a plain white plate. Basically, I didn't like the one color. I don't know. I'm mixed about the other two. I like them, but I don't like them. Do you relate to that feeling? I don't know. Nobody's here, so possibly. Okay, so anyway, good to do that. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where we're going to put this. So I might want to make it tonight. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I never thought that it was all that late. I want the mushroom ones. But I got both. Maybe he's like, that sounds interesting. That sounds fun. But technically, we got this seasoning. And the rest is just gravy, really. But anyway, okay. And the rest is gravy, she said. And I think my grandfather did this. I don't remember who else did. I think Dad a little bit, but it wasn't super obvious. I don't know if I would say she was a talented. I don't need her because I've got the ability. I don't know if I'd say she was all that talented. She was okay. You know, I look things up my we have water downstairs. And it's not quite clear. I could barely crash it. I'm calling you to talk. Okay, so we're making a wrap. Whether we're hunting, I don't know. I think I'd like to do some music after this, to be honest. Okay. So, yeah, because I ate at like 8. I ate at 8. 8, 9, 10. Going on 3.5, almost 4 hours. So, it's a long time, man. I know some people say, oh, Jesus did it for everyone. Jesus did it. But please, Jesus, I'm not. You know, I don't mean to be talking negatively about the guy, but he hasn't been that positive with me. Okay. What is this? I have no idea. All right. A little bit of this. Okay. Shoot de doop de doop, shoot de doop de doop 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 shooby doo, shooby doop 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 doop. I don't know if I set this to monetize this video or not, but I feel like I want some music videos. I mean, you can give it to me, but I like to turn the radio on. Try to. Always be a baby. I don't know who's singing that, but Ray, are you here? I thought you were here. You'd make it more obvious. I don't know. Okay. I still sense, I don't know if it's just because it's intriguing or not, but I still sense Roger talking to Marie, and I sense Ray is talking to my grandmother. and I've not known that they've met. So, but it sounds like they have now. So, a fried cucumber could be interesting. Could be very interesting indeed. Technically, this is having the chicken cold, but that's how I've been eating it. I'm gonna put a little. I'll be right with you, folks. That's got a little bit slimy, the corn, unfortunately, but the rest feels okay. But that feels weird, and I don't know why. This Cobb salad, essentially, it is. It seems like it seems like the yes, I have to eat this in the next day. There was a ton of bacon crumble. Anyway, helps if it's on. They're tiny wraps, so I actually kind of feel like I might want two, but I think it's such a good size. Feels like food, man. That might be good on pasta. That might be good. Oh, this one's no less tricky. It says all you have to do is tear it, but I don't think that's the case. It's a resealable bag, so it's hard to cut into the seal. What a bad design. And it says resealable, refirmable in French, but there's nothing to pull. It's right at the very, it looks like there might even be two. There's like a wrist strip there. That does it, but it looks like, maybe there's not one there. It feels like there is, but maybe there's not. So I'm just going to cut that. Feels like I'm cutting through the thing a little bit, though. Would it work? Okay, I think we got it. Oh, I don't have much nails. I don't want to bow. Open the damn thing. So. Pardon the French. This has been amazingly durable. I don't get them very often, but I'm very surprised. I think I probably have tried this before, and actually that was something else I used to enjoy with Marie. I mean, I guess what I'm being told is that she hasn't passed away. Otherwise, I think she would at least say hi. Roger just said she says hi. She's communicating with you. So technically they have the ability to then. I mean, I'm sure I've realized that, but I've never really thought it through like that. So, yeah. Okay, well then I want to start the music from her, so I'll eat and then I'll play music. And Mark and Kelly will hopefully be. I mean, I decided to let them know, just in case they didn't think, you know. Oh yeah, but we went and did some errands afterwards, and it was like 3 hours later, and well, it's 2.5 hours in, so yeah, getting close to that time. And they might have thought, why did this so dope? So they don't just pop open and get everywhere. I guess I could have it in that. Well, if I'm going to, then I've kept this pretty clean. I can say I put away a plate. Congratulate me. Be thankful that you got that much out of me. Chronic fatigue and distractions are a real thing. You know, they really are. So, do I want this in this or not? Maybe a few of them. Slices. You want a couple more otherwise? peanut butter is an interesting concept for a pickle when you actually think about it. But have you actually thought about it today? Whatever. But I guess they normally suggest that you have it on bread with butter, and that they might have a little bit of a butter flavoring. I don't know, but I'm very tempted to do that. But I don't believe the only bread that I think we have right now, because you didn't buy any, we don't really eat sandwiches that often, is cheese bread. Not to be confused with cheese bread. Ah. Oh, hi, Jenny. And sometimes it's just that easy, folks. Not always, but sometimes. Fancy meeting you here. Well, to my knowledge, you still lived here, so yeah. But I broke on the phone. I want to see if it's this windy. I'm not going in it. Like, it's really windy. Like, I'll just show you how much that tree's blowing, and it's even been moving more than that a couple of times. So if it's like that tomorrow, I'll wait till tomorrow to find out. I'll call and confirm because I know I have the appointment, and I kind of remember the time. But if at like 10 o'clock it's not, or 9:30 maybe, it's not, then I'm not going. Sorry. Kills me. Oh well, it's been nice. Been good knowing you. Visiting your dentist chair, and it's been lovely. If you're seeing that, I don't know if you are. No, you're not? Okay, then I won't explain it. I have no explanation. Do I really need this? I don't know. It hasn't gotten that cloudy yet, so maybe. Butter. Spatula. Come on, baby, where is it all? This is nice. Cheese, pickle, lettuce, chicken, bacon, cucumber. Gloriousness is what it is. But I don't believe, oh right, and maybe a bit of ranch, which will taste less like blue ranch. Yeah, I don't believe we have other bread. What I am kind of wondering, speaking about your grandparents and they used to have a big freezer, what I am kind of wondering is maybe, and this has absolutely no, maybe that's it, but sometimes they have that little piece of plastic on them, and you end up ripping the piece of plastic off and not getting the other top off. But I've never had, I have had chicken bacon ranch. With the pickle and the Swiss cheese, that I've not had that combo. On my end, we're looking forward to it, baby. We're just done so that I think I think I made progress on it. I think if I watch this back and then remember those things, it'll be okay. How many gravies did I have? Looks like quite a few because here's a third one. I don't think that was intentional though. Now the steak spice. Where did I see that? In here? Okay. Before I forget, oh right. This is nice, but these are technical and it's loaded. Hopefully not too much, so I want to be able to wrap it. And I used to know actually how to do that very well. But at this point, because I don't like the feel of that stuff. They used to have one of these things. I just had that one. I don't know where it went. An old school lid opener, do a trick. I don't know if things that have like foil on the back of them are recyclable or not. That would have been good for a piece of art because it was actually relatively clean on the foil side. You said get it dirty, but we've got to just take a bite of this while I go down to see if we've got bread. I filled it so much. Yeah, I used to know how to roll these things better, but yeah, that's pretty much how. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. was so delightful. And maybe I put more into it than the 18th. It's great ingredients that would have been great otherwise. But, you know, using flavors and that, makes it for him. Maybe we should have ordered some. I didn't know I was going to want them. Well, I didn't know exactly what kind you ordered. I heard bread and butter quicker than I thought of it, but I didn't. So I haven't. So. Mm-hmm. Whew. Welcome in. Welcome. Kind of excited if I want anything else before I sit down. I did heat up my coffee. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. This lunch is amazing. Why do I have 2 spoons and a fork? Just trying to see if I had the other one for sliced pickles. What would it be? How are you? I'm just also wearing this because I didn't want to get anything spilled on my shirt. And I was hungry and I wanted lunch. So, is there anything unique that people like to put on, pickles, preferably sliced pickles? Maybe nuts? But that's sea salt. Oh, it sounds not bad. Sea salt sounds hilarious. They're already going to be kind of tangy. Maybe not as tangy as another type. But I do have to finish off that salsa at some point. If you have anything weighing on your heart you'd like to talk about, hello. Welcome. How are you? I know. Are you at work today? No, Michelle? I know if you'd been here just a few seconds earlier, I would have been very briefly downstairs, but I'm only ever very briefly away. Okay. Are you working from home or something today? Or it's not that busy? I'm not complaining. I'm just wondering. So, I have some sliced pickles, and I'm trying to decide what to put with them. In the office. Okay, well, I'm glad you're able to multitask then. Either that or I have a second wrap, but I'd like to try and stretch that for one more day. One more. Anyway, no, let's do that. Just some ranch sauce, maybe, and whatever falls out of this, which so far isn't actually all that much. Glad you got my message. Don't forget to like. There has been some people here. Mark and Kelly hopefully come back. I don't think you met them before. But I'm not too sure where Andrew and Chris went. So at the moment, I think it's just you. Well, there's one other person, but I forget your amount. We have very similar, mostly laid back styles. But don't forget to like, please. But I know you do, but just want to make sure it's accounted for, And hopefully the other person won't be shy either. We're both pretty nice people, so talk with us now. Just do. Or you still can. Just kidding. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, such a good friend. So I'll introduce you to my grandmother Sadie. She's not one that I usually have to. I'm sensing. I've only met her like 3 times. That I have to coax to. And she says, "We don't know who the second person is." So she says hi from the other room. My grandmother. And IYKYK. If you know, you know. I think I spelled that right, or abbreviated it right. I'm trying to figure out what to do with these. I don't think I'm just going to have some ranch. Yeah, and there was something very interesting that was occurring, but there's 3 of you here, and I could tell you about it later, perhaps. But let's see here. So she's like, "Well, are you actually going to actually introduce us?" I'm not sure I know how. What do you say? This is Sadie. I did that part. She's like, "It's lovely to meet you," and hopes that the other person may say something at some point, or that's me actually, but it's also kind of her. But and she thanks you for giving me some of your time today. She thanks you on behalf of her and my dad and all the other loved ones for, being a pretty good person in my life. I know we've had moments where we've disagreed or maybe things have felt a little iffy, but for the most part, you have been, and I'm thankful for that as well. I just told you some. Pay attention, Miss Multitasking Michelle. No, I appreciate you being here, like I say. I don't know. What would you like to ask her about this life or the next? I know you don't really know her, but I know to you, just like people in general, you're kind of nice to everybody, so. And she says, "Well, if she's only kind of nice, then maybe you should get to the music now that you're done eating." I also said, and you have a sister Jennifer, right? But it was my cousin Jenny was also kind of here. But she says she may have brought a little special someone as well. I don't know if I can keep up with all y'all. And then we've got Roger telepathically communicating with his former wife, who they had kind of divorced from, here too. And it's just, and my grandmother's reminded me that I don't have to concern myself with that right now. They're doing their thing. They're catching up. I mean, it's been passed away for like 4 or 5 months. What's taking them so long? She says, as you know, sometimes these things take time to be able to reach loved ones. And you also do know that he's communicating with someone who's a little elderly, like a small elderly. She says that too, dear. But she says, so, you have that understanding. And she says, I don't want to take away from the opportunity. Look at that wind. For your friend to speak with her sister, perhaps. She's heard a little bit from me. If she has a particular question, I can try and answer it. And she says, and your cousin is also here, ready for the musical concert. But she says, that maybe what's more meant to be is something for Michelle today, for whatever reason, as far as with your sister. Because when I was in the kitchen a little bit before you got here, I did sort of sense, the Jenny I sensed was my cousin. Ha! And she says, how do you know that? Well, because I wasn't thinking of the other one at the time, because I only think of 2 when I think of that name, maybe 3, 4, actually. Another friend was mentioning today that Jennifer has had a struggle. What do you mean by that? One you didn't know about? Well, first of all, and it's understandable, she's saying they don't really experience struggle My sister. Oh, really? So your sister did this kind of stuff too? Is that what you're saying to me? Or that your friend channels? Oh, seriously? You've got to connect me with this person. I'd love to talk with them. She does say that she feels that that's more of a conversation that you should have with your friend. It would be nice for you guys to connect and share some bonding over that thing. But she says, either way, know that largely, just like any of the other angels, she is not Rosalind. Okay. Why have you never mentioned this before? Don't you realize I need to know other people that do what I do? Like, come on. But anyway, see, it's the same device, but it's not the skipping out. I'm at work. Yes, I'm interested in theater shows. Yeah, I don't know. Now it's not looking as much like that. I said that initially when my grandmother was there. I grabbed the Scottish book of music, and I found myself holding it to myself and saying, "Hi, Grandma." I already knew she was kind of around, though. No, actually, was that before or after she departed, left with my grandfather within this? Anyway, but yeah, so Jenny's just saying, they don't really struggle that much in heaven. It may have been perceived as a struggle by your friend. It's not pronounced in her yet. She's going through it. Oh, is this the lady that I think we've talked about her before, haven't we? There. I think we have. Is that right? Because she almost reminded me of a lady I met on the weekend. I'd really like Mark and Kelly to hear the rest of that story, but I'm tempted to tell it now. But okay, so she's going through cancer, healing. That's a way to put it, I guess. It's usually not a very healing experience, and the treatment is usually not a very good thing either. But my friend Rosalind, she says, again, and it was a misinterpretation, is what I'm kind of sensing. It's kind of like, at first I thought maybe it was Rosalind's misinterpretation of your sister's struggle, but it sounds like not because of the cancer even. And did you know that there's a song called that by something about cancer by Chemical Romance, ironically? Anyway, basically, she says that it's really more what Rosalind's going through that she was kind of referring to. I mean, does she get sad because she misses her loved ones sometimes? Of course. Does she wish that she could be in the physical again sometimes? Sure. But she says there's no point worrying about it because she can only do as much as she can do from where she's at. And she does her very best to do that all the time, is how she worded it. Do you know anybody else that does it? I mean, you probably do. I'm thinking you must, being you and all, because I don't know. You haven't said so, but I don't know if I should reach out to that person if she's going through that kind of thing right now. But I don't know. There's another part of me that thinks maybe I meant to know her while she's still in this realm, and then when she passes away, we go from there. I mean, I would hope she doesn't pass away anytime soon, but we all kind of know that cancer is one of those things, don't we? And sometimes it's just as simple as connecting dots and thinking. And so she said a little bit. She says a little bit, but right now, I'm sensing that they're very good at respecting that everybody wants a turn. And my dad is so humble, even though we don't talk as often as we could in this way, and he's, really misses me and everything. He's kind of like, come on, go ahead. And he's kind of standing back a little bit. So she has been fighting hard and resting a lot and meditating with us. Okay, cool. And Jenny says, and she needs to keep doing that. You're not going to get any work done during this part, and it's not noon yet. But anyway, I'm working here, and don't send anything to Super Chat. I mean, I'm not forcing you to do it anyway. But if you want to send a donation, we can talk about the best way to do that. We're not sure if we're getting any payment on YouTube, but it's not just about that. But I mean, heck, I'm not going to complain about money. And I actually feel like it was your Jenny who said, because you'd be a fool And it's very interesting because I was just looking at a picture a little while ago of the lady that reminded me of the other lady that we met when we met all of y'all. Uh, that looked like my friend Doris, the one she was the gray-haired lady that had cancer. So that's kind of ironic. And they're also getting up there in age. Tony and Dora, they've got to be. And there was Antonio in this, and earlier there's got to be, yeah, anyway, but yeah, it would be through G's email would be the best way, so we can get that to you if you decide that you'd like to do that. But I it hasn't happened very much, and I definitely appreciate. I wasn't even going to stream today, but anyway, here I am. And if the second person isn't, if they're saying something I'm not seeing it, it's obviously not a troll. Please let me know. I mean, may I say a little bit some trolling sometimes and speak about it, and sometimes I don't wait for a reply. Maybe I should. And other times it's just like I'm too old and I don't have the energy for that. I mean, I'm too. I just simply don't have the energy for it. That's what it is. But if the second person is watching and thinking negative, judgmental thoughts, thinking he's a weirdo, whatever. I mean, I know that it's not really that much the truth, but and man, I had a day the other day that I almost want to talk about with you, but you're just saying, well, maybe I was, but anyway. But one of them wasn't associated with anyone, and the other one didn't stay very long. Anyway, so but as far as the thing goes, I don't feel like you've met many of my other loved ones. I don't know which one I'd like you to meet more, but I feel Marianne, I feel Glenn's sister Kathleen, and I feel like Dad is taking the side. And oh my gosh, I just had an interesting flash visual. Oh my gosh. He's got his hand on Roger's back because Roger, I mean, we're all human. And even when we pass away, you know, we still have some of those human traits. But he would have been the type of guy, this friend Roger, who would not have shown his feelings. If he was happy, if he was laughing about something, maybe. But otherwise, he'd get up probably and go feel them privately. And if it was noticed, he probably would have acted as if, you know, he was fine, but he was probably very good at making it, you know, unnoticed. But he's feeling something right now with whatever he's talking to Marie about, and my dad is kind of giving him some comfort in that way. So that's kind of interesting. But I feel like it's very like a subdued, like I'm not really, I've been told by my one grandmother that that's none of my concern. And also I'm just really not picking up. I don't think Jenny's went anywhere. Your Jenny. Actually, I kind of think she's talking with my Jenny. So we've got two separate meetings going on. No, and second person, please don't be shy. You know, you're not interrupting anything, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Seriously, regardless of what they are. Give them a try. Let me tell you what I think. And if I don't address them, I'm not seeing them, Michelle, please tell me. And as far as, yeah, and I think you're somewhat ADHD too, even though you say it's my daughter. I don't know how you're getting any work done, but hey, you know what? You're the only one talking with me at the moment, so I'm kind of okay with it. Oh, I shouldn't say that, but you know, obviously there are others around. And that's very interesting. Like I would have thought Kathleen would have known that G was at work, but she was over here, and then I kind of sensed her like going through the different rooms here, like she was trying to find him. But then she's like, "Oh, right, he's at work." And she's like, "And what was that?" Like, I'm sorry, but of course he's at work. It's Monday. He's having lots of fun, I'm sure. You know, and this is my work, you know, even if it doesn't usually pay, you know. Me and somebody asked a very interesting question the other day. I said I was in a rut, and this individual who we met at that mountain thing, basically, said, "Is it a self-imposed rut because of something from your past?" I said, "Well, first you're asking this around him," and G was standing there, and she's like, "Oh, sorry. I mean, if it's too personal, you don't have to answer." I don't remember getting that deep into it. It was almost as if it was diverted a little bit. Someone diverted you. She's like, your guitar. Sadie's like, your guitar is gently weeping because you're not playing no music. I'm not playing no music. Where did you go to grammar school? She says, in the 40s or 50s. It's none of your concern. But I don't want to ignore Kathleen. I don't want to ignore Marianne. You're here. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the different forms of connection, you know, and you're the only one here other than them. And I appreciate them. And I do. I learned on the weekend that I think I prefer online for doing music. As much as I would like to say in person, unless it's people I'm familiar with, unlike that other lady who said, oh, that's even worse. I should have said, what kind of friends do you have? No wonder you don't go online then. You know? But what kind of connections are you making? But she's also got her farm and she volunteers and she works and she's from the what was that place called? There's another place kind of near it. I forget. Where's my muscle rub? I need it. But Jenny says, listen to Michelle. She's going to say stretch, you know? And that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? This feels like a really weird stretch. It scared two people away. At least it looks like it. Oh, but brought one of them back. Somebody else is here. I know this may seem weird, but my muscles are tight and I'm getting some movement in. And I can stand to have more of that most days. But anyway, so no, I was not trying to get a treat for you. But now I feel bad. Is that my... Okay, I'm going to remove that comment just so other people... I almost didn't know how to read it myself. I don't believe that you... yeah, and then get lightheaded and topple over. I don't believe that you sent me a cream. Not, or a muscle rub. But that was like ages ago. That stuff's long gone unless it's fallen down the side of the bed. In which case it's also long gone. I belong down, I belong down. I live to be 100 years old. Who does that song? It's an oldie. Motown. Da, da, da. Well, it wouldn't be if it long gone. Is Fran still alive? Do I believe that Fran's still alive? Yeah, I don't know why you think I'd still have that. And the last time you sent me, I used it. I don't know what happened. Or is that the one that fell? The other one broke inside. The other one fell. I can't remember. Anyway, part of the matter being is that I haven't had that for a little while. And yeah, and that was what you said. I'm trying to connect you with my friend Sam to send her some stuff because she says it's really expensive, the stuff that she's getting or whatever. But, you know, I feel like I'm giving her the details. She'll send you or she won't. But so I guess you don't know that song. Okay. Fair enough. Maybe you'll know this one. This one, it's ironic because of the second line. Do you know much country music? I think you said that you do a lot of instrumental, but do you know much newer country music? Hayes, what's his name? Hayes, where's Burke live again? I don't know. He's a distant sibling. As much as I've come to accept that, it annoys me. Kathleen says, it seems to me as if there's a reason that you've got this gift, even when you do have connections with other people, is so that you're not suffering with loneliness so much. It's so that even though you might not have a lot of living, local, or connected family, you know you have us. This is the sister that passed away a few months ago. I think you know she passed away, right? A little country. My nephews are getting into... Oh my gosh. And Jackie, who's still alive, that I know of. But I've done line dancing back in the day. It's funny, I was singing a Cher song earlier because I've also done line dancing to a Cher song. I also thought of it kind of recently. But anyway. It's just really B's and E's, back and forth. But it mentions a restaurant that my friend worked at. And Boogie, like the dancing, which is probably where the other one's named after. And I wish I only briefly saw him, and he was talking to other people, and I was doing whatever I was doing, but I should have run up and asked that guy if he used to work there, because if so, then he probably knew Ray. And whether they were all that close with each other or not, or he knew that she'd passed or not. That would have been, anyway. It is what it is. I've seen him there other years too. I hadn't remembered that though, because I don't really know this guy, and he wasn't the one with the shirt up and the big belly and the tattoos by the. Anyway, so basically, it's got some sort of lyrics in it that are even. Well, we are 2.5 hours in. It's just you, but I don't want to be in the middle of singing such lyrics and somebody else come in and say, "Ooh, you never put that." But it was funny because this was showing at the top on the table that we were at, and she read it upside down too. I think like she was been a waitress too. She played in my hometown. This lady had done music or whatever. Glad don't mind the fan. The quality's good, but she said, "Don't need a Tesla." That's an old song. Or no, she said that's a new song. I thought Tesla was old. We fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Got the bourbon street steak, Oreo shake, and whipped cream on the top two. Gotta add just one check, girl. I got you. Oh, you're like natty. I don't know what that means. I know what that means. Fancy like is the song. Do you know it? Fancy like do 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 do. Anyway. I really need to look at this more closely later. 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 4. Is there really that many pages? I should have done front and back. You do know that song. You need to go lay down, Sonny. Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I always associate with my friend because she worked at Applebee's and another place that is in a roundabout Ray mentioned in there. And we almost ate it, so yeah. Anyway. This one, I'm kind of glad I didn't play it. It's very deep. It probably would have triggered some people if they recognized. I mean, the thing is that, well, with the B, but it's GCED. That's very popular. But then CD, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. I probably would have wanted to sing it. But yeah, it was around some autistics on the weekend, I'm pretty sure. I had that one on my fun songs list. Seriously, son. Okay, if I just give you some of these, he knows that whether it's good or bad, if he makes enough noise, he'll either not get a treat or get a treat, but it's worth a try, right? Anyway, you'd probably like line dancing, wouldn't you? Or yeah, you're a dancer. You're not just a meditator. You dance and you meditate at the same time, if I recall. Just kidding. So anyway, this hasn't really been theater, but I suppose it doesn't have to be. You've seen me do some of that before, and it's a trigger. But I think that was interesting for that lady to hear. One of the things that I felt is that if it wasn't a guarantee that I would get picked for a role, that was one reason why I wasn't going to try out. And I guess I had a certain stronger feeling in one way or another. And yeah, she made a bit of a face, but it was almost as if her heart sunk for me. I know it's weird. Well, I'm deep. I'm this way. You wouldn't be surprised. My 50th birthday was a surprise dance. You're not 50. No, you're not. Anyway, basically, it was almost as if she thought, I don't know, but she certainly didn't, other than that, it was really nice to associate with her because I didn't have a lot of other conversations other than G and a few very small ones. Like I talked with her. We both talked with her probably, and we'd only just met her, probably about 20 minutes. And then again later. And I wish I'd known who exactly she was and how to connect on the socials, and that she would be interested in doing so because, I might see her in the summer. And if you make it down for the festival again, if we connect or introduce her to her, watch, you probably know her. Because, you get around so much, people. Anyway, but at the same time, I'm a little bit annoyed because at the moment she hadn't went off to talk to anybody else yet. And she said, she could have said, this is where we got to really be paying attention and be aware and realize whether we we feel it very often or not, that sometimes we have more power than we think to help people. Because I guess what I needed to hear was, you've been stuck, you need to be chosen, and you need some opportunities. Let's help you get some. She heard me. She heard what I was saying. She felt something. I think it was just in the moment, and then she wandered off and was connecting with other people. She didn't know, okay, this is a great segue to the story, so I'm going to tell it. Mark and Kelly can tune in later, or now if they're here. But I'm not going to keep this in there because that's the trigger, or it would be to him. Where's that small 5? I did see it. There it is. Anyway, basically what happened was, so it was a bit windy while we were outside, and I thought I'd put something on top of this. And I was thinking to myself how there's a big bunch of unfamiliar people sitting there. And I eventually told myself, okay, I don't think I want to face them then, because they all seem to know each other. And whether I was going to play music or not, I was a little bit, I hate to say it, but I was a little bit overwhelmed, I think. So I turned my chair the other way. Again, they weren't really conversing with me. They didn't really know me. It was fine. I mean, yeah, Kate was over there, possibly Kate and the other Kate. I had to laugh. If I said her name, though, if I said either of their names, but it's just interesting that her granddaughter called her by her full name. Well, it's actually, one is Kate, which is a name that you don't hear very often, and the other one's Catherine, I believe. But either way, point of the matter being, other than that, I don't believe I knew anybody. And I didn't know them very well either. So, and I was thinking to myself, this is where either I prefer online or I prefer familiar people, but it would be easier. I thought to myself, it would be easier if there was at least someone, like, I don't know what G was helping them with something else, helping with something else that was going on or something, wandering around. He really, I mean, we ate together and that, but anyway, and I said, but if there was someone that I had at least some familiarity with, and this lady was a musician, maybe not currently, but, well, I mean, maybe not these days as much, but she has been. And basically, so, and then I noticed she was over talking to someone else, a little bit away. I thought, this is the kind of thing where people are going to wander around, and she didn't seem mad. And I was kind of yanking her chain, for lack of a different phrase, because, I was making, and I mean, I'm not hugely technological, but more than she is, it sounds like. So I was making, not like an obvious comment about how, like, you're living in the Stone Age kind of thing, and technology is not all bad, which I'm sure she's been told many times. But anyway, so basically, but I went over there and, I listened to her a little bit, and she, was kind of trying to, essentially make me feel included, because she looked in my direction a few times. And then suddenly my song papers that were on the other table started blowing everywhere. There was another situation me and G talked about where there was a bit of a ceremony going on, and that happened. And the only people that did anything about it was me and Alil, who is maybe like 12 to 14 or 15. I'm not exactly sure. And even though, and maybe don't agree with some things about his mother, you can tell she's raising him well. Him, them, however they identify. Because, yeah, I mean, like me and G talked about it afterwards. Like, everyone, I was just like, oh, there's papers blowing around, I'm just going to watch, essentially, and I even thought that I guess they didn't belong to her. She was just next to it when it happened. Anyway, so we went, and he didn't really say anything. He said it's the kind of day where when that wind picks up, you have to put something on top of it or whatever. But anyway, so it blew out, and this other lady and a couple other people helped gather my papers. I think I got all of them. And that brought her back to the table that we had been sitting at. Okay, I'm going to have to put these away because the dog is not going to let up. You know what? Seriously, you want to go outside for a bit or something? Woof, woof, meow. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, it's raining, it's snowing, the old man is... The gate's been moved slightly. Right, the chair. Okay. No, you've had lots of these. You don't just get them just because you want them. I'm still hungry. I want another wrap. I could get one though if I really wanted one. Anyway, point of the matter being is, yeah, it brought her back to my table. I don't know if it's still Michelle that's watching or not, but anyway, it brought her back to the table, and we, I tried to do this one, but it was from a piano book that doesn't really have the chords with it. I didn't know the lyrics, so me and G tried to do a little bit of it, and then I asked if she knew Ed Sheeran. She said she maybe would if she heard him. I started to play that song, but it seems like the version I printed, I had to transpose it or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I didn't play much of it. I could tell that at one point I could tell that she was enjoying it, but she really didn't say a whole lot that I recall. But she probably knows a lot of musicians, and she's used to hearing people being talented. I think it took me a bit of playing to kind of get into, I was transposing it. No, I just, there was a lot more people around than I'm used to playing around lately, even if they weren't really watching. And actually, it was lovely. Where's Chris? There was this lovely guy. He had one of the vendor booths or whatever, that when we were leaving, he said, "By the way, I enjoyed the music playing." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't play as much as I would have thought, but thanks." He's like, "Yeah, it was good." So it was nice. It made up for her not saying anything. No, she may have. I just may not remember. That's Louis Capaldi. I was asking you about him the other day. Michelle, if you're there still. I don't know if you know any of his songs or not. And then this is the Ed Sheeran song. I'm still hungry. That lunch was good. And I find that sometimes when I eat well, I want to keep eating good stuff. Potato, are you here? I'm going to go to this tab now and check. I don't know why the dog's being so noisy. I really don't. Earlier this morning, he was barking at his food dish, which has food in it, and he's doing that again. I'm not too sure why. Heard of him. Couldn't name a song, though. Before you go, oh, God. Oh, my gosh. I have to look this up because at the moment, neither can I, but I know a few. I'm heading out for lunch soon with a friend. Okay, not Rosalind, though, eh? Well, that's nice that you have time to go out for lunch and actually go out for lunch with, and know that's a blessing, while you're at work. Let me just pull up some of his songs here. I know I have a playlist open, but there's other stuff in it. And actually, no, I do still have that open. One that I'm kind of wanting to look at a bit closer maybe is, just a moment here. Well, it seems to be about... No, honestly, he's kind of so used to it that usually it doesn't faze him. And he's been out fairly recently, which is good because I don't want to do that when G brought him out. He hasn't been drinking his water down lately. And no, he was directly looking at his dish. So unless they're stirring it around or something, I mean, I can't. Anyway, so let's see here. He just thinks he can get some more treats out of me, I think, and he's wrong. Someone You Loved, is it one of his songs? Wish You the Best is a very sad song with the dog, featuring a dog. Shoo. Movie theaters keep coming up. Oh, there's another one that I'm thinking of, but I can't remember who it is. Thank you for the 10th like, though. I don't want to put him up because that... Only you will get this. Hello, I hope you don't have a dog that our dog is going to get worked up. The other person's at work, but I don't think you have any pets. Do you, Michelle? Do you want to go back upstairs? Because seriously, you're distracting me. You're like, well, you've been rolling for 3 hours. Isn't that enough? Not on a day like today when I'm staying out of the wind, if possible, still flurries and rain. It's very loud and rude to bark that much. I'm sorry. Like, well, finally you'd understand. And what the, oh, that you're, well, no, you have a few pieces and you've had other stuff. I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. How are you? Only you will get this. And what time of day is it? I should call Jisoo. It's close to 12, but he doesn't get his lunch until 1:30, sometimes 2, sometimes 2:30. I'll be right on the screen again in a moment. But yeah, a lot of sad songs. Lewis. Are you still there, Michelle? I could try and sing one of them. But yeah, this one music video that he's got, basically, I think the man is dying and his dog is there, and he knows that he's going to have to leave his dog's life soon, and it just shows them visiting with each other and enjoying each other's company, and it's really sad. And his dog is much quieter, you know. No, just kidding. I don't know, maybe it's this bag. I had a couple of things still in it. There, now it's not in it. Relax. If you let your walls come down. Michelle, are you still there? I don't think so. I think it's only you who get this, but I'm not entirely sure. I think you went for lunch. I think I would have liked to have joined you, especially since the little that I did have, I'm still hungry. And part of it feels like a piglet for it. Hello, Clark. But I don't get what the problem is. I really don't get what your problem is. You're cute but annoying little doggy. But you know, it's too early, and I mean, I'm not anything other stuff. Yeah, I'll shuffle around, look at stuff, and maybe do a bit. But other than that, so. And yes, not a nice outside weather day to go for a bike ride. It isn't. Seriously, you're getting this close to me sending you upstairs, so you're not distracting my stream. And I don't know. Well, I wish I. You know what? No, I don't think you're gonna stop. So up you go. Second time. You earned it. Congratulations. I'm not. I mean, we show lots of love and affection. Myself think I don't have Tylenol. You didn't order them. So what do I eat, folks? I want to save the rest of that stuff, or maybe most of it. I don't know. I think a lot of it's bacon now. And the egg I want him to have. That's one more wrap. Maybe two. Maybe two. At this point, I'm thinking a piece of cheese while I figure out the rest. Holy cannoli. It's huge. Huge. I wonder what those things are, Josie's. Have you ever had pickles wrapped in cheese? Or cheese wrapped in pickles? Just kidding. Well, I'm about to. We forgive you, by the way, Sadie says. And you're exactly, I read her thought before that you're not doing very much music. Good. Glad to hear it, because I'm not. And I don't plan to, just kidding. I don't know how just this would be on one. It's kind of like salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of garlic and onion. I still find them a little tangy though. Maybe I'll get bread tomorrow after my dentist appointment if I go to it. depending on what the weather's doing. I'm glad that came up a little earlier too, but yeah, I think I maybe meant to listen to some of this stuff later. I don't know how to point this. There seemed to be a good and interesting and mostly happy message in that song, from what I recall from a little bit of a listen to it, and compared to a lot of his other songs. So yeah, why not? But this one, yeah, I'm glad I didn't keep that in that book. That's page 2. It'll go there. This is part of Castle on the Hill, which I swear I've seen some of the pages for. This is why I prefer music books, but I didn't have it in a music book. I usually would just play it online, but I brought it to the thing, and it wasn't a complete waste, so I'm thankful for that. And technically I got 2 compliments, and that doesn't mean that more people didn't enjoy it either. She says that's right there. But yeah, so I didn't number all the pages either, so one that's still part of Fancy Like. But the chords are not that interesting. Oh, that's the other one. So that's part of that. I'm so confused. That's that song. Where's the other part to it, though? I don't know. Oh, here it is. Okay, so they're in a bit better of a order now. But this is still that song. It is indeed. That's Castle on the Hill, which I feel like is more than just this. That's verse 2. Part of verse 1 is here. Yep. 1, 2. But that's 5, 6. Okay, sorry. I should really staple these maybe now that I've kind of got them in order. Maybe I should. But I do want to keep these ones separate. That one, it might be kind of cool to hear him play it. I don't know. I don't know if he would. Do I want that one to be in his music book? Primarily his music book? It's very suggestive. But I've said why it's special to me. What? Colton's here? Oh, sunshine on my shoulders. Yeah, Ray can be really suggestive, that's for sure. But it takes one to know one. Yeah, I had to bring JP and Jason too, speaking of such. Like I said, when it's on, and it's been a lot more lately, even them coming in groups. It's weird, but, sometimes it's very overwhelming. And if I'm too distracted or too tired, and sometimes they don't make it as obvious. And I don't know. It's just, yeah. But, other fellas are there, like, batting their eyelashes. And I like to, blink a little, look lively, blink lively, anyway, that thing. Only if it's just a little, though. No. I don't like the one word in this song. I'll put it in here. That I will say. And I don't think I know many of these other songs. I know that when Dustin was here once, I was looking at them. There are a lot of old, very Scottish songs, and I feel like G probably knows more about them. That's too tiny and hard to follow. Um, I do know that one. Sadie just said she likes Scottish music as much as the next grabber. Where is that stuff? I know I put it on. I think out there, but I didn't see it out there. Oh, joy. There was the old one, there's the new one. Well, there is one upstairs, but I'm not upstairs right now, if you didn't know. Oh, I think I just found it. Oh, no, that's the other thing. Anyway, so, yeah. Just looking through these songs. We got Sadie and or Linda here. And who else do we got? Yeah, that doesn't go by. True. She says, I am such a man. You are. Okay, and I'm also rolling. So, understood. That is a really weird Scottish slang. Gin. What could that mean other than it looks like gin, which is a beverage, right? Gin. Gin a body, meet a body. I don't know. What do the lyrics say? Meet a body coming through the rye. I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of it means. What's up, tell me? Yeah, I don't want to go and get the pots. I don't want to bring the chairs up because it's too cold and windy, and it just fits right through you. I noticed that earlier. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to be setting my Guinness record. I mean, maybe we're about halfway there now. Actually, no, because of that one. But I just don't think I'm going to. How long I will, possibility of weirdness I'm going to talk about. But I've already got, what's his face? Give a quick update about. I could just say all's good, made the right decisions, but I'd like to be more specific than that. Then there is whatever she was aware of that she made me to the past 2 or 3 weeks, including one pretty important topic. I might want to give her a quick update about things that I'm got going on this week. Not that I need to, not that they've happened yet, but maybe. And yeah, and it's only 12 o'clock, so I mean. So if you have a song request or if you have anything weighing on you and you left, if that doesn't mean wrap up, I don't know. No, either someone either came back or somebody else is here. Again, if you have a song request, if you have anything weighing on your heart, we can talk about it for a little while, and then I'm going to be wrapping up. So at the moment, I have been rolling for a while. I'm not really sure what I'm feeling at the moment as far as what else I might want to put into this. So again, if I'm able to see your comments and you put them, I'm happy to take a look. Just looking at my other device for a moment. And Potato, if you're there, if that's you that's there, I should be able to see your comments, I would imagine. I shouldn't have, because that's updated, yeah. Also remember, hydration is important. Please, David, don't be here. Don't do it. Sorry. I don't know, though. It is kind of true. Whether you're putting something I'm not seeing or not putting something, I'm not going to want to work too super long if it's not somebody that wants to chat. No offense to you, nothing personal, but that's kind of. And I have had some conversations of various forms, and mostly some good conversation. But it's early in the day. I guess I still feel like I still have a bit of energy for such. So I don't know. And I don't really know what else I'd be doing. I mean, I kind of want to look at this a little bit. So I could do that. This is one of the bags I had with me on the weekend. I don't know what that is, but I could look at it. I'm kind of curious about this. That might be an interesting element to bring into this, perhaps. I know I took a quick glance at it the other day, but now this has the. Should that mean it should be washed? Possibly. Um, but we got something the other day. I like this part. So this was a pre-written thing that was handed out to us at something we were at the other day. And I like this. We are alive as the earth is alive. We have the power to fight for our freedom. If we have courage, we can be healers. Like the sun, we shall rise. I don't know what I think of this part. In a rock fire remain, they will remain. When we return, the wind will blow and the fire will burn. Okay, person left at least. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. I think I've heard that one before. So I have to watch back the rest of that video with him the other day. And this one very much I want to. And then I've heard myself from 7:30 to 8:30 on the phone. So I probably should find something else. And then, this would be fine enough. Even if there was some deep moments, this would be fine enough to watch back with him before bed. And the other one we'll watch some other time. So, but like, I can watch, 3, not 2. Of course it's 3, not 2. There's actually quite a bit of sun out now, but it's still fairly windy. Might be raining, might be snowing. So I'm just looking at some poems a little bit. So, and some of them resonate more with me than others. They're not my poems, but they're kind of traditional, kind of in a way spiritual. They're probably, it's totally fine for them to be to put into this. I think some of them may have even been written by somebody who was at it, but I don't think so. Like the kind of old folk traditional type stuff, usually that stuff. I mean, it just wouldn't be monetized if not, so that's fine. I've talked with Michelle a little bit further about whether, I don't know if I gave her that much, but if she can, maybe she would. I don't know. That'd be a nice little thing to come from this. Just kind of looking quickly at this though. And that's the one that I started with. That's the one that I looked at. This is kind of nice. This is kind of nice. Not stuff I really looked that deeply into. And some of it's, I think I would say, a bit more metaphoric, or it's like, I don't know, like I've never really thought of myself as a tree, but we all do have roots. My roots go down to the earth. My branches rise up to this into the sky, and my hands, oh my hands, I believe with my hands that I can heal this land. My two hands hold the earth. My two hands hold the earth. I do hear the thing you put in the yard. Oh no, actually, that's actually I believe still over here. I'm pretty sure. So if Jordan's here, I'd like to show him something kind of neat. That around the day we met, I'd have to unbury it on the couch here, uh, but it's there somewhere. but the other times I haven't heard them very much, but definitely I did today. I mean, in the winter, I'm like, well, not much. I spend a lot of time in the yard, and yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of silly time. But there, rare contrast. Spread a fire. We will kindle the flame. We will fly with the wind. We will tend to the earth. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. And this kind of stuff is new to me a little bit. Well, it isn't, it isn't. Air my breath, fire my soul, water blood beats my bones. Interesting? Glowing in one's mind and soul. Let the beauty you love be what you do. There's not 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. There just isn't. Come on now, folks. Let the beauty we love be what we do. The earth, rather. All that dies shall be reborn. Some of the language in here is a little bit odd, though. I don't think that necessarily is, but some of it is. They're a different sort of people. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily bad, but definitely they have a way of thinking that people that aren't in that community wouldn't as likely, I think. I mean, that just makes sense, doesn't it? With triangle circle around the sacred pair, seek the source of nature's wisdom, find the answer there. There's definitely some of that I like. You know, some of it that makes me think, huh? 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 That might not be one of them yet. I thought I did earlier, but maybe I haven't. So yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll look at this. We'll look at that. Okay, so there was a couple. I think there was a one or two people there, briefly. They didn't stay, and I'm very close to just wrapping up. I think, looking at other things on my device, music playlist, some other things that I've been writing, working on. And then I guess if I'm really bored and feeling it, then I can come back. But I was never intending to set my Guinness record today. But two people just tuned in, so maybe I will. I mean, truth be told, I've got 4.5 hours to go before I do that, and we're quite well into this one. I mean, I'm still surprised. I mean, it briefly lapsed, and then started. You know, like there was like a difference of like 30, 45 minutes, but somehow, but then there was that thing that came out. And yeah, I mean, well, there's nothing I can do. You're not on a different account. There's nothing I can do about that, other than hopefully recognize it and do something about it. And if it's comments that don't show to me, even though they do sometimes show in different ways, then hopefully it shows to someone else who can do something about it. You know, but yeah, other than that. When I watch it back with G later, because he hasn't been around for any of it, I'll have to make note of where that story from the weekend came in. But yeah, I don't really think I have anything else to say. Especially didn't have much to say about that. I like to get it done, but I really need to get it. Almost that's kind of a copy. Plus, so eventually, maybe. So, yeah, 15 minutes there. And he's cool with that amazingly. So, next time I need to go up there, I will get the dog. But I'm really thinking of wrapping up. The two that were here didn't seem to stay more than 2 or 3 minutes, if even that. And I'm really thinking of wrapping up. Okay, could I do that? What do you think? Three fellas again. I mean, if they're here, that could be a very amusing time, and maybe I'd like to share how fun it could be and let you be part of that. I mean, they sure haven't said a whole heck of a lot other than fluttering their eyelashes. So I'll go one by one. Oh, have anything to say? There's another eye activity. Okay. Anyway, anything else? I think that they would really love me to do some music. So if you have a song request, do feel free to put in the comments. JP, motioning dancing. Just did a little twirl with Jason. First of all, and I guess there's a reason, unless there's some sort of delay here, why I'm only seeing this here on my other device. But first of all, you could be a little bit more polite, but I have a thick-skinned. I think you said your boyfriend said that I need to get a job in my parents' basement. I have not lived with my mother in probably 12 years now. My dad's passed away. So, I mean, quite a long time ago. So, like, there was no bearance or relevance in that kind of comment. I'll say that much to you. Now, one of my friends just watched it as something, thinking he probably likes it. That's disturbing. It's very disturbing that I only see it via the one way of looking at it. So I'm going to wrap this up now because I actually am tired and wanted to do some other things. But if that person is still here, I mean, I'm like over there, but why am I not seeing here on either of my devices? That's so strange. Anyway, and I do have work as well. So, like, wrong on that one, too. And, to that person, like, you don't know me. So, like, and I'm kind of thankful I don't know you. So, because you're not the energy I'd want to know. So you can go on your way and be a better person, hopefully. There is 3 other people here, though. I'm not seeing them in the chat. If there's comments, they're not showing up. Now there's 2. And I don't know what I'm going to do for now. But other than that, yeah, I have a feeling that one person may still be here thinking idiotic thoughts. And now it's down to 1, and that could be them. And I don't know why there's an inconsistency here. But I do have an idea. So a little bit. Then see you later. Okay, go. Bye. Got other things to do anyway.